6 o'clock, good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Nashville Predators in the last away game of the season fell 4-1 to the Utah Mammoth Thursday night, who officially clinched a playoff berth in the West and potentially the first wild card spot Utah did. Eric Holla on the power play in the third period scored for the Predators, and that was their only goal on the night. Looking at the wild card spots in the Western Conference playoffs, I just mentioned that Utah clinched the playoff berth, but for the LA Kings, they beat the Canucks last night, and they jumped past the Preds for that second wild card spot with 85 points. They also have a game in hand over Nashville. Nashville's next up tomorrow night as they will play in Bridgestone Arena. A Masters update as round 2 gets started today. American Sam Burns and reigning Masters champion Rory McIlroy tied for the lead at 5 under. Americans Kurt Kitayama and Patrick Reed, as well as Australian Jason Day, tied for the second at 3 under. And as for Dixon County product, Jackson Harrington, he shot an impressive 4 over and tied for 56th right around the cut line. And in men's college hoops news yesterday, former Tennessee forward J.P. Estrella, he's committed to Michigan per Pete Thamel of ESPN. Delivering the Wolverines a top product in the portal, Estrella has 2 years of eligibility remaining and averaged 10 points and 5.4 rebounds per game in just over 18 minutes. Michigan also bringing back star point guard Elliot Cadeau for a senior season, who led Michigan to its first national title in over 37 years. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once, and you're home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Good morning. It's Ramon Will, but this is Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone. It's crazy to be up this early. I mean, I've done it before filled in for Will before, but it is still a very jarring experience. Luckily, after the day yesterday of going up to Kentucky Downs for cover 2, then coming all the way back and doing football and other efforts with Stoney last night, not getting home to like 8 o'clock, I was pretty done. So it was easy for me to go to sleep early last night.
No, you find yourself in the modes, man, whenever the crash happens, and that's the thing that gets me. I'll stay up sometimes because the anxiety of thinking about getting up is running more in my mind than almost anything else.
I got a horrible night's sleep because I was like, is my alarm going to go off? Was my alarm already supposed to go off?
Yeah, your normal time of hitting that next REM sleep, if you get up after out of your sleep, is crazy. I've been there before, and what's gotten me more times, Zach, as of late, I got to figure out, I know this is going to be pro whatever your argument is on this one, but I got an iPhone.
Yeah.
I know you got a Droid.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, my alarm sound would turn off and it just vibrates. Like my wife sleeps with she wakes up with the vibration alarm on the nightstand. She just hears it buzzing on the nightstand. I'm like, how do you live like this?
My wife does that. It feels like
no idea how she hears it.
Yeah.
But it's happened to me like, Hawk? Maybe twice that I've been like close. Well, I was close to being late this morning. There was cops had somebody stopped in front of the stadium. So of course I come that way instead of going around the other way. But it's been a couple of times in like the last calendar year where my alarm will go to vibrate.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what I'm doing. I go in and check my settings and everything seems fine. But whatever it is, it's clearly a me problem. iPhone need to figure that out, because if that's a glitch, go ahead and send the update, okay? Because that gives me PTSD when it comes down to like, I hate being late.
Well, the last time I had my alarm to wake up, I guess I didn't hit save or something, and it didn't go off. And luckily, Lauren woke up and got me up out of bed at the exact time it was supposed to go off anyway. So, like, I was very paranoid last night. I checked about 4 times to make sure that the little clock emblem was up there before I actually went to bed. Like, four times in, like, a span of 30 seconds.
Is there any worse feeling of waking up thinking, oh, what a good night's sleep, and then you look at the times like, oh, no.
Yes.
And then you just panic. Brush your teeth, get dressed, get in the car, speed down the road.
The day feels incomplete already.
Yes, there's no worse.
I got a worse feeling. I feel like that is driving down the road and then that low tire signal come on.
Yeah.
That alert in your car. That right there bothers me more than almost anything.
Me and Lauren are just magnets for nails and tires.
Really?
Oh.
Never seen anything like it. I mean, if we go 6 months without one of us getting a nail in our tire,
Get out.
That's
I mean, it's insane. I don't know what it is, but we pick up nails in the tire. Now, sometimes we'll pick them up and they'll be fine. They land perfectly in there. You don't really have to worry about it. But, like, it's kind of insane how many nails we have picked up in our
construction
tires.
sites?
No, we live in a completely finished neighborhood.
That's insane.
And all that stuff.
Somebody's throwing some nails around.
It may be.
What? Are you giving out full size?
Listen, I'm on the radio now. Maybe it's, some people don't like what I'm saying.
Yeah, no. Hey, you say that. You say that, and it might be. Heck, I feel like I have one or two instances of that. But the low tire pressure inside of your car alert, that one right there bothers me in the worst way.
I mean, any light that comes on your car is just a bad feeling. Just like, I got to go back to the car
I feel
shop.
that.
Yeah.
And I'm the type, too, I was just telling my wife this other day, 5 years on warranties with cars.
Yeah.
I have that itch again. And before I've been burned like that, I've seen others be burned numerous times. So anytime, it's probably such a first world problem. Y'all forgive me for this one. But anytime that warranty about to go, you can have it back at that point in time. Like, it's just something about paying out of pocket for vehicles. When you mention light alerts, like anything that happens after 5 years, they can have it back at that point.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, that's the thing. I know a lot of people. Lucas is kind of going.
You, first world.
Yeah.
I told you, Hawk.
Well, Lucas is kind of going through a certain situation with his car's transmission. And I come from the car business world.
Yeah.
And so, like, when you start messing with the transmission, it's over.
We gotta,
I mean, because one thing goes wrong in the transmission, it's fixed. Then another thing will go wrong.
I just had
then
a
another
transmission
thing.
problem with my previous car
it's over
for 5 years.
Hawk got stuff. Sure did.
There
My
was
sister-in-law's dealing with one right now. She's trying to decide on the vehicle too.
Yeah.
You're right.
2 months ago, on my way in, it was 4:30 in the morning, and the car just all of a sudden just stopped. And I had to call the wife at 4:30 in the morning, and that was not a good feeling to have to call a pregnant wife.
Yeah,
hey, can you come pick me up?
That's where, I will say, my PTSD of growing up. My granddad is a mechanic.
Yeah.
Okay, so those type of issues, he's kind of enlightened us about growing up as well too. And here's the other part too. I'm a Ford guy now. My granddad is ashamed of me. Not
Lions
really,
Ford.
but I know.
Two Rivers Ford.
But GMs. Is what he grew up on. They're easy to fix. You just pull the motor, drop a new motor in, transmission, drop a new transmission in, and it's easy. Ford or any other car, I hadn't had any issue out of my Fords at all. But my granddad's the reason I'm lightly like that because I've seen him move like that a little bit too. By the way, I've always wanted to ask you this.
Okay.
Family business.
Yeah.
Lions Ford.
Yeah.
Drive by going to Atlanta, going south of the city. Okay. Did you always used to get the questions like, what kind of car are you getting in high school? Did you have that question all the time from your friends?
Actually, I guess when I turned 16 was kind of, because I'm a summer baby.
Okay.
So a July, so I was always a year younger than everybody else.
Yeah, you were. Year.
So when we lived in Florence, Alabama, Dad was part of a place called Jim Bishop Chevrolet, Buick GMC, but also they had Toyota. They had them all.
Yeah,
they were one of those big family businesses.
Super carplexes, super complexes or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So I ended up with a 1997 Toyota 4Runner as my first car, and I put the subwoofers in the back. That's when you had subwoofers and lights under the cars back in the early 2000s. Listening to Limp Bizkit, rolling around with the windows down. Very 90s, by the way. And so.
Neon lights.
And then the subwoofers got stolen out of my car.
Did they bust the window?
Busted the window in our driveway, and it was raining, so no fingerprints or anything like that. We're pretty sure that we know the
somebody knew you.
We knew. We pretty sure we know who it was. Wow. And but then when we moved up to Columbia, my senior year of high school, so I was only really driving around Florence probably for a year and a half.
Okay.
And so when we moved up here to Columbia for Dad to get his own car business, at first he was at a Buick GMC place. And they did Pontiac back then still. Yeah, I remember. And that's when Survivors first started coming out.
Yeah.
I got a Pontiac Aztek, and I remained steadfast in my defense that the Pontiac Aztek, if you put it in today's world of cars, would look normal as hell.
Yes, it would.
And
we had one.
It is one of the best cars I've ever driven. And I've driven a lot of cars, obviously, because, you just drive cars around the lot, too. But Pontiac Aztek is a top 5 car.
Get out.
Changed my mind.
Yeah, right.
It is so fun to drive. Because it's a Pontiac, it was super fast.
Yes, it was.
Right? So, it's super fast, had great get up and go. You can get 0 to 60 in no time.
Yeah.
It had plenty of room for your friends.
Sure did.
It had the plenty of weird storage, all because you had that little thing that also came out, the little storage compartment. Had the cooler. I'm just saying, it's a top tier car. It gets a lot of unnecessary hate.
That's funny. That was one of the newest cars that my mom and my stepdad had bought. She was mad at him for buying it because we really couldn't afford it, and he ended up totaling it out as well too. But it was a tan, light brown Pontiac Aztek, and it was the hottest car came out. The promo and marketing for it was insane,
and everybody thought it was so ugly.
And nothing looked like it on the road. Nothing looked like it on the road. It had a square back angle hatch or whatever it was at the time. But Pontiac. My Ron and my brother Renardo helped me get a car too. It was funny. It was a Pontiac Bonneville, 2002 Pontiac Bonneville. It was like a midnight blue. I went for the Outback Bowl one time. This is when my brother was actually playing for the Falcons. Renardo was, and I come back from Tampa for the Outback Bowl, and he was like, "Look outside," and I look outside, and he added me an automatic starter on there and stuff, and I was just like, "Hey!" It was by far the coolest thing I could have ever had in my life was an auto starter at that point in time, man.
Let me say something. I occasionally look on Craigslist and stuff for a cheap Pontiac Aztek. It's like, if it's cheap enough, I may end up buying one. Like, I do.
Really?
Maybe it's just the nostalgia of having that because I even put it was a black one. I even put red lights underneath it and stuff. Turn them on when we're cruising the strip down in Columbia, Tennessee.
Yeah, with the neon lights.
Yeah,
man.
and stopping off at the Sonic, to talk to the women and stuff.
Sonic.
It was
small.
Back then, Columbia, Tennessee only had the Sonic was the place to hang out.
Every small
they
town
still had
kicks at the Sonic.
the rollerblades on.
Yeah. And Columbia's changed so much. I mean, they have a butcher shop down there and all this kind of stuff.
Not a butcher shop.
A high-class butcher shop, too.
Butcher shop,
yeah.
Zach.
I'm telling you, they had some nice restaurants down there. I've been a few times. But back then, even for our 10-year high school reunion in 2013, we all piled into the Applebee's after the reunion to have drinks. There wasn't a lot,
those
from 2003 2013 to do. Yeah.
Those 2 for $20 will slap.
Half off appetizers, man. What are you talking about? So we came from that era right there. Half off appetizers on Fridays and Saturdays is where you thrive at, man. Absolutely.
I'm from Dixon. I don't know if you know that, Zach, but Applebee's was one of our things as well.
Yeah.
We had several like that, but ours was mainly Mexican restaurants.
Ooh, yeah.
That's probably the finest establishment in Ripley, Tennessee.
That's where you went to your birthday parties.
Yes.
It was either when you were growing up, you either had a birthday party at a Mexican restaurant or you went to the bowling alley.
I got the peak of small town restaurants in mind. Y'all want to hear what it is?
Yeah.
KFC.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Ripley.
I'm just saying.
Have you ever been to a KFC that runs out of chicken?
No, I have not.
Okay,
I haven't.
I'm not going to call out the city, but I've been to, I will say this, the one in Memphis runs out right next to campus. I don't know if it's still there because I know that area's changed too. There used to be a KFC and a Jack Purtle's, and I'd go to Jack Purtle's get my chicken liver fix. And get the chicken livers and gizzards and gravy. Oh, man. They got. Listen, let me say something. There was no freshman 15. It was like a freshman 50 for me. But it was over the course of college.
And then West Tennessee, too?
Yeah.
Oh,
good food.
Gosh.
And that KFC would always run out of chicken. And there's one in this kind of area that runs out of chicken all the time. And it's the most weird thing, a jarring thing to hear when you pull up to a KFC and they're like, yeah, we're out of chicken. What do you mean you're out of chicken?
What do you order instead?
I have a question for you because I know one specific county that's really good and they brag about their KFC.
Oh, yeah?
Is it Springfield?
No. So
I heard
that one's good?
My wife's from there. And
Gotcha.
apparently that one's elite. It's so elite. So we're on HIP. This is HIP Springfield. My sister-in-law showed a screenshot of somebody bragging about how awesome the chicken was at the Springfield KFC. That came from Sumner County.
Springfield's got some restaurants apparently. They got they got some restaurant that has raw oysters and stuff in it, like a raw oyster selection.
It's one of the fastest growing counties in the Middle Tennessee area.
That is kind of crazy.
I went to a spot there called 1015 2 weekends ago.
Yeah.
Phenomenal food.
Ooh.
I'm telling you, there's a spot by the railroad tracks in Springfield too.
Someone was telling me about that recently.
Elite.
Yeah.
Zach. elite. Okay, find
Oh.
yourself in Springfield.
Oh, I'm going now.
But I do know the KFC in Springfield, Tennessee is supposedly the best in Middle Tennessee, if not the state.
Wow.
Just going to throw that out there.
I like it. But yeah, KFC, small town. Remember they had the buffet too?
Yeah.
Someone's putting that up in there in the chat as well. FNFA
Yeah,
chat.
That's when I would eat
Yes,
KFC. I don't like
absolutely.
KFC.
Oh, you don't like KFC?
don't.
You don't?
I don't. It's too greasy.
I
for
tried it one time recently too. Well, I ain't gonna
Yeah.
say which city it was in, but just like and
No disparaging.
It wasn't what I thought it was, man. It
So
wasn't.
the Foo Fighters, before every show, they get a bucket of KFC and a champagne bottle, and they'll pass around the bucket and pass around the champagne bottle
That's
before
real.
they go out.
I can respect that.
And that's pretty. And
I can
so we
respect
tried it. Me and my wife did. We were like, let's try it. Let's get a bottle of champagne. Let's get some KFC. It tastes pretty good. It's one of those weird things where you're like, oh, that's pretty good.
I mean, when you drink champagne, almost anything tastes pretty good.
That's true.
That's balancing
That
two
is
worlds
true.
right there,
Yeah,
Zach.
that is. All right, coming up next, let's talk a little bit about the NFL going through a little lawsuit. And I think it's a kind of a ridiculous lawsuit, by the way. So let's talk about that. We're going to be talking about polarizing prospects, a little bit of Jeremiah Love since I'm on the show, and I've been talking about Jeremiah Love for like every day since like October.
I think I know which side you're on.
Yeah.
We can have a nice good back and forth, okay?
And then we got polarizing prospects as well, and prospects on day 3. We got all kinds of stuff to talk about today. We got Brent Hubbs, we got Ron Slay, full loaded show on this beautiful Friday. This is Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone.
Do this real. One word that comes to mind when you think about Genesis Diamonds, it is integrity. This is a company built on a solid foundation with total transparency and honesty. This is why they don't have commission salespeople. They pay their employees, so you don't have to. So they aren't under any pressure to sell to you at all, and you aren't under any pressure to buy. They share with you the long-held secrets of the diamond industry, teaching you the tricks to maximize the value of your purchase. They show you how to buy like a dealer buys, okay? Natural and lab-grown diamonds. Another thing, at Genesis Diamonds, they don't play the pricing game. Unlike other jewelers, they work on a very small margin. They don't mark up to mark down prices, and they offer the best value price every day. When they do have a sale, it is the real deal, not a phony event at all. And we're lucky to have Genesis Diamonds. They're not another big box corporate chain store. They're locally owned, but with international connections that guarantee no middleman pricing on every diamond. And don't forget this either. Only Genesis has the top brand of designer brands that everyone wants. They were handpicked by all the top designers because only Genesis meets the highest standards in quality and customer care that these designers demand. You will love the experience there. Trust me. Genesis Diamonds and luxury pre-owned Rolex watches. They're located in Green Hills and Cool Springs.
This is Ramon and Will on 105 The Zone. If I can get through these next 4 hours without calling this show Cover 2, it will be amazing because I am the worst at that. Of being able to not say, because I'm just so used to it, I get into a flow state.
Repetition. Absolutely.
I get into a flow state.
I think we all do stuff like that too. I know some people just reel off the phone number easy because like you in the rhythm of giving information and doing the show drop, which you do it every single day.
Yeah.
Like it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
I'm going to call you Will. I know that for I called Lucas Will once before when he came in with me. So it's going to happen. It's words, Zach.
It is.
Words.
The worst that can happen is when you just got out of a relationship, get into another relationship, and then you get the names wrong. That's the worst.
See, no.
Got to take a beat and remember who you're talking to.
Absolutely, man. Got to be more careful out here. That's for sure.
615-737-1045. Listen, if you got food recommendations, I'm all in on that. All in on food recommendations. Listen, I got a food recommendation for everybody before we get into this Department of Justice versus the NFL lawsuit here. In Hendersonville, there is a restaurant called Jolly Ollie's. Have you been?
It's right down the street from me.
Those buffalo wings are some of the best.
I had no idea. Okay, I thought I was tripping.
No.
We went about a month and a half ago over there, and I never get regular buffalo. Never get regular buffalo. I'm a lemon pepper. I'm going to do Asian zing or something off kilter like the Carolina mustard or something. I'm going to do something not buffalo.
Yeah.
Elite.
Yes.
Absolutely elite.
Let me say something. I'm a big buffalo wing snob anyway, but I'm a strict buffalo guy for the most part. Like I like them. And those things, I was there when I first started doing Cover 2. I was actually preparing for one of our shows. And I was just kind of sitting there up at the bar. I just had it, and then the wings went by.
Yeah.
And I caught a whiff. I was like, oh, that is Louisiana hot sauce with butter mixed into it. I was like, I'll be having me some of those. And they are good.
They are good.
So Jolly Ollie's, great wings.
It's not a whole lot of heat. Like there's good heat and then it's got flavor to it as well. We went on a random Friday. I think we just left a sporting event, of course. And dog, it was I thoroughly enjoyed the place. And by the way, I'm glad they're back up and running too. It's like burned up like twice.
I know. It's been crazy, but they survive and they got a nice little outdoor area and everything. They got all kinds of bars.
You know what?
There's like 6 bars there.
Or
something like that.
I've only sat down at the bottom dining area.
Oh, the top areas almost turns into a club on the weekends with karaoke, musical guests, and packed. And then they have 2 levels, bar or really 2 different outdoor areas with like tiki bars set up out there.
It's right there on the corner too, coming off of Main Street as well.
You wouldn't really know it was a bar or a restaurant because of how the building looks.
Their piece is pretty good too. Just want to throw that out there. My son both my boys love their pastas.
I haven't had the pastas yet, but I'm a big Jolly Ollie's guy.
A little humble Hendersonville shout out, man. You're in Hendersonville too, right?
Well, I'm right there, Goodlettsville borderline. I'm on Long Hollow, so I'm right there.
I'm on New Shackle.
Yeah, so we're not that far apart right there.
Look at
It's actually funny. I've never seen you out and about, but I've seen Reggie McKenzie at the movie theater over there.
Hold up.
Not even joking. Reggie McKenzie was there at the movie theater.
He's in humble Hendersonville with us, too?
I don't know if he's living up there, but he at least went to the Indian Lake Theater over there.
We're going to claim him then.
Yeah, we're claiming him.
Leland's up there with us as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've run into Leland and his wife at Walmart. It's one of the things like everybody spotted Leland, and for the longest, I'd never seen him around.
Yeah.
I've never seen him around. Then I saw him a few times now. I saw him at Walmart, Think Sam's, and Kroger. The Krogers, too, as well.
Yeah.
So, Leland's up there with us, too.
So you don't call it Kroger. You call it Kroger's?
With an S.
I do, too.
I'm going to throw an S on Sonics, too.
We had this conversation yesterday.
Sure did.
I'm just saying,
there
it's
is
with
no
the
S. We're not going to
But it doesn't matter.
multiple.
It's called Kroger's.
He's the wrong one.
Yeah.
And I'm from
word
Dixon,
of the day.
who probably a lot of people say it like that, and I just don't.
Yeah.
The word of the day yesterday was McDonald's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like, no, it's McDonald's.
It's
like,
Mick.
it's McDonald's.
Find the
I think
A
I say
between the M and
McDonald's.
the
You
C.
see what I'm saying?
I think I do.
You see McDonald's?
You find the A.
I don't think I would have never have changed. Well, Big Mac, right?
See? That's all. But we'll call it Mickey D's.
We don't call it Big Mick.
We do not call it the Big Mick.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's McDowell's from Coming to America.
But in terms of spelling, there's only one A in McDonald's, where there is one A in Big Mac.
Implied.
The A's implied.
Thank you. That's just like my coach. My coach is Coach McAdams. Like, it's Coach Mac.
Well, it's funny you guys bring this up because I was thinking about the Fruit of the Loom. You know, everybody thought it had a cornucopia in the logo, and that's apparently some big Mandela effect. It never had a cornucopia in the logo. We all just thought it, which I don't believe that's true. I believe there was a cornucopia at some point.
They lied to us.
But I do call it Kroger's.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's K. Roger.
K. Roger.
You know,
I would much prefer you to say K. Roger than Kroger's.
I just call it Kroger's.
It just is.
Or like Costco's.
Yeah. I don't do Costco's. I just do Costco.
Yeah, it's just
Thank
Costco.
you. Okay, well, you're still wrong with Kroger's.
I don't know. I think the majority of the people that grew up in the early South, you may be. I don't know how old you are, but you may be too young to call it Kroger's.
31.
Yeah, you're way too young.
Yeah, he's down there.
All right, let's go to the phones. We got Matt in Shelbyville who wants to get us back on track to talk draft trades. Matt, you're on with Ramon and Will.
Hey guys, how you doing? I haven't called in a while. I just wanted to see what the Titans doing in the free agency, spending money and looking at the draft prospect. But this really goes to Ramon. Ramon, I think you have to agree that if the Titans do not fix that offensive line, then it's whatever you do after that is pointless.
Absolutely.
Because they have to keep this man upright. And if you're not going to have a offensive line, then you need to get that tight end from Oregon. So this can be his outlet valve. So he doesn't have to go 18, 20 yards down the field. Then he can get this ball. And you have the defensive lineman at the end run after him, and he can dump it off to this guy who's athletic and have an outlet. You have to have that. The running back, yeah, he's good, but he's not going to help you because when he gets pounded, these guys are big and now they're fast. They're getting bigger and bigger and faster, and you're not beating these guys to the corner anymore. So you have to take care of this offensive line. If not, you're going to have an outlet. And two, you have to have confidence in your scouting team that these guys are as good as you say they are. And I have questions. We have 3 years of them drafting and they're spending their money, and you're not getting results. So what makes you think? Like I told you before a couple months ago, they on the clock for 2027. They on the clock.
As far as the coaches' job security, or explain to me that one. I just want clarity before we discuss it.
Okay, so you said earlier this week that it's all about stability.
Yes,
absolutely. You got to give these coaches time. Amy can't come in here with another 3-14 seasons and start cleaning the house again. It doesn't turn over like that, and then you have to have some consistency so people can come to Tennessee and play for you. So, plus you have to have the coaching staff to put a plan together so they can address talent, because it doesn't matter if you're picking 7 rounds if you're not picking anybody who's starter capable. They have everybody who's backups. Except for Jeffrey Simmons and the linebacker. I forgot his name. But everybody else can be a backup on other teams or a backup on this team. So they got a lot of work to do.
They do.
And everybody wants immediate success because you have teams like Washington is a good example of teams turning it around immediately, or the Texans. But that doesn't happen every day. But the owner has to come out and say, look, we want a 4-year plan and just get better. And we're not worried about winning Super Bowls or going to playoffs. Yeah, we want it, but we want to get better. Because if you don't, then you got problems, and you're gonna have an empty or a stadium that's brand new, or you're gonna have a lot of angry fans because nobody want to pay $800 to see that.
For sure. We're going to sit and discuss it.
Thanks, Matt.
Appreciate it, man.
I don't know if y'all let your callers breathe or not. I just let them vent sometimes.
It's been a while since Matt's called in, and he's had this stance before, and I appreciate his passion about it as well. So free agency wise, they've done a good bit. Mm-hmm. I will say also, Matt, I think that was your name as well. The amount of bodies that they brought in free agency, I think, has somewhat given answers to what pathway they want to go. The tight end he was speaking about from Oregon is Kenyon Sadiq. Kenyon Sadiq's going to end up being a first-round draft pick.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times in history, Zach, they've taken a tight end top 5. Top 10, maybe?
I think there's only been one tight end top 5 since 2010, if I'm not mistaken.
So that's just going to be a pipe dream right there. Right. They ended up going to get Daniel Bellinger in free agency this offseason as well. Gunnar Helm should be expected to have
Kyle Pitts was the only one since 2010.
Kyle Pitts, 4. Yes, I do remember that.
I don't think Kenyon Sadiq is. Listen, I really wasn't part of the Kyle Pitts is a generational talent kind of deal, but right. Kenyon Sadiq is not as good as what Kyle Pitts was coming out.
Yeah, and here's the thing though too. You have outlets. I feel like in this offense, what they need, I agree with you, is more weapons. To me, Jeremiah Love is an offensive weapon. I've been on that side of it. On top of saying what I do like as far as draft picks go as well. So I'm not opposed to the idea of picking another weapon, but I think you got to be strategic about this one. And one, you mentioned the offense and having something that one can protect Cam, but also have outlets. Mm-hmm. I will say this too. As much as I will harp and get on the offensive line in general, as far as quarterback protection, offensive flow, and stuff like that, I do believe coaches hold their responsibility as well.
Yeah.
Coaches have to know what their deficiencies and strengths are as well. When it comes down to how you protect, whether it's slide protection, max protection, whether you're rolling Cam out, that plays a part too, Zach, in how you protect your quarterback. And then again, depending upon what level of understanding does Cam have for the offense and the rest of the guys too, knowing where his outs are, his hots are, can he check this team moving forward out of a bad play or a bad look, or check to a run play if this passing play isn't going to be there. There's a lot of legs. You got to understand too, Cam was a young quarterback last year. In an offense that changed 3 times maybe or more last year?
Yeah, at least, you had 3 different voices inside his head.
Yeah. So what you're asking for is more talent, more depth, and more understanding. But I'm with you as well, Mike. You have to give this time. The proof of concept of Brian Dable being able to run a coherent offense is there.
Right.
Build up and weapons is a part of it, too. As far as the offensive line is concerned, I think competition is going to be the final 2 spots. Unless they go and get somebody in the second round. We'll speak more about the draft and stuff like that in a minute. But there's been a lot of moves that have been made. If you've been checked out for a while, that I feel like the Titans are in a better position. Specifically, I would say getting the ball out of Cam's hand, that's a Wan'Dale Robinson, I think, specialty if they want to use him like that.
And if they decide to go Jeremiah Love at 4, he's also that guy too.
Yes, he is. Absolutely.
Because he's one of the out of all the running backs that have came out into the draft probably in the last 5 years, including Bijan Robinson, he's the best route runner out of all of them. He was running routes at the combine for teams with the wide receivers. The reason he's doing that is because he can do that. Then does that mean that he's playing wide receiver? No, it means he's playing running back. But when you're talking about outlets and then explosive plays that could be had not just in the run game, but in the passing game from behind the line of scrimmage in a flat to help your young quarterback, he can do that same thing. Just Kenyon Sadiq does it in front of you. Mm-hmm. Maybe Jeremiah Love does it to the side of you if you're Cam Ward. Am I out of bounds to say, because I get made fun of by many people for being very concerned about the center right guard spot as it sits right now and how it may be solved. Am I overreacting to that? Because my concern level's like an 8.
That's fair. So it's twofold for me in that conversation. Austin Sloatman's supposed to be, in my personal opinion, I think he's the starter. Nobody's going to say it, and nobody's going to say they give it to him. He's got to, air quotation marks, earn it. I think when you bring him from that New York Giants offense and the role that he played there, he's probably coming here. I think somebody recently say he'll be in competition with Jackson Slater for that position. I think Jackson Slater will be in competition with somebody else for the right guard position.
That's what he feels like he is. I've stood next to him in person.
Yeah.
He kind of reminds me of a guard, not really a center.
And so that's where I'm at. So you asked the question to get to the answer. Are you overreacting by saying that's a big concern? An 8 out of 10 is high for me, is what I would say. I think when you have a veteran guy like Austin Sloatman at center that understands what Brian Dable wants, he gives a veteran presence to Cam, so you settle there. That to me is the most important position, settling the center spot for Cam. The only thing I worry about that with Cam and Austin Sloatman is how long do you have with him before you start training up a new guy. Now, here's also the plan, as we talked about our guy Mike that called it a second ago, is this. If you use Austin Sloatman for a year or two, because the deal is conducive enough, or it's fair enough for him to be here for 2 years.
He's getting paid a lot for a center just to be a competition.
No, and that's the point, to follow the money. You know what I'm saying? That's the other part. Like, he's being paid general starter money for centers in this league. So the way I look at it is this, Zach. You can start Sloatman. And if Jackson Slater wins the right guard position, you give him the opportunity to gain some in-game experience, to understand how Slody is calling stuff out. It could be for later this year or for next year. We had Ben Jones in here a week and a half ago, and we were discussing this. He said his first starts was Chris Meyer at center, and he was at guard. He said it was the idea of him gaining experience on the job, and then eventually he turned into a center. That's how it kind of was for me. My first reps in the NFL was extra tight end.
Yeah.
78, 73 going into the game, and I'm extra tight end.
You were the John Njoku of the team.
Exactly. And then I ended up getting some reps at tackle. Somebody went down. I got some reps at guard, and you become that guy to gain experience. Like, it is a very scary predicament to be in, to be relying upon young offensive linemen, but this is how you gradually get to that point. Slater, to me, could eventually become the starting center. He's young enough. He just needs to experience and understand how to call it, how to be poised, and that's why it's always important for this team to gain more, one, of a culture, which I think they have a good one. What I'm saying is longevity of having your culture also be carried by your veterans and not just having to bring in veterans like John Franklin Myers or Austin Sloatman all the time. You want those guys to be in-house all around the locker room. And I think that's what Slody provides for this team in 1, maybe 2 years. And at some point, you eventually may want Jackson Slater to move over, or you draft that position if you have the ability to be in the teens or 20s for a first-round center.
But what you're saying is Jackson Slater, if he were to win the job over Cordell Volson or maybe a rookie, if they decide to even go that way, then he's going to get right next to Austin Sloatman, hear how he calls it out for Cam Ward, how he recognizes protections, how he communicates it to the rest of the offensive line. So it's like a mentor-mentee.
Exactly. You learn. There's no other way to do it other than to go through it. You learn on the job in the NFL. And that's why a lot of people have been said, throw the rookie quarterback out there. We don't bat an eye for rookie quarterbacks, do we? But put a 3rd round, a 4th round guard or center in, it becomes the most problematic thing is they're all rookies. Yeah. And the only way to learn is to be covered slightly by veterans around you. To me, I think J.C. Latham has a big task of shepherding whoever the right guard is going to be, because that is a part of your job too as a vet. There's numerous guys that I brought through. Kelvin Beachum, Mike Adams, Marcus Gilbert. I can name you the guys. B.J. Finney that I played next to, Chris Hubbard, that grew up next to me because I was talking to them and hey, we got to be here. You need to do this. This is what we do on game day. And that's why I think it'll benefit a guy like Jackson Slater if he does go and win that job right there too. This is where the veteran leadership, to me, of J.C. Latham starts to step up.
Man, super interesting. I never even thought of it that way for Jackson Slater.
Man.
Yeah, but that's what I know. It's early in the morning for everybody, but I love getting into the weeds on all this stuff.
Probably rubbing his hands right now.
Yeah, he's probably got his cup of coffee, and he's got his feet propped up and all that kind of stuff. Like to me, the best perk of being in this job has been learning from Blaine from across the way about all the intricacies of football that we don't think about as fans, and getting that insight is just like. I get chills just listening to you, but every day I'm getting chills from Blaine because of the stuff I get to learn and how it's kind of shaped how I view football in general. It's just been phenomenal.
But that's why we mention culture and vets so much, because I had OGs that brought me, and they were only like 4-year guys, but they brought me under their wing and told me and showed me how to do stuff. That's why we harp so much on, I like your homegrown guys and your culture. That's why good teams stay good, is because they continue to show the young guys, this is how we operate.
Love it. Love it. All right. When we come back, I swear we'll talk about this Department of Justice. We will. We will. We'll talk about Department of Justice versus the NFL and how may it affect you, the consumer, the fan of this wonderful football product. This is Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone. Cover 2, Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by all 4 seasons. Nope, I did it. I after just saying, I just realized it because I was in the flow state. We were talking about offensive line.
We're talking.
Oh my gosh, it's Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone. I was in the flow state. I just got into it. I mean, just mentioned it last segment too.
To the show name and everything and sponsor.
I was just flowing right through my usual spill. 615-737-1045.
You should have saw Hawk's eyes over there. Like, what?
I'm sorry, Hawk.
You're fine. I thought I maybe had played a cuss word in my song. But.
That is my bad. My bad. Yeah, now the chat's going to give me crap about it as well. So got to bring that on. Got to bring that on. All right. I got Ramon and Will. I'm Zach Lyons of Cover 2, but this is Ramon and Will covering in for Will. The Justice Department has begun an investigation into whether the NFL has violated anti-competitive practices with its television contracts that require consumers to pay subscription costs to watch some games. So the NFL has an antitrust exemption for negotiating the television contracts, but streaming contracts based on other cases do not count. So there's stuff with Prime Video and there's stuff with Netflix. And technically Peacock, Paramount. Yeah. Those things that require pay services are not exempt from their antitrust exemption. But I also find this a little ridiculous. And here's why. Most people have Netflix and most people have Prime.
This is very true.
Now, and NFL Network, because that's been included because they stream on NFL Network.
Yeah.
Well, that's part of DirecTV and all this kind of stuff. That's always how it's been. So a lot of their games are for free for your team in your market.
By having a membership to them. Yep.
Yeah. And all you got to do is maybe sometimes you just have to have an antenna or sometimes just watch it on local. But like they even say with over 87% of games of NFL games are free. Broadcast television, including 100% of games in the markets of the competing teams. The NFL has for decades put our fans front and center in how we distribute our content. The 2025 season was our most viewed since 1989 and reflects the strength of the NFL distribution model and its wide availability to all fans. I don't get this lawsuit. Maybe it's just there's something more to it. We don't have the full information surrounding this, but I find this very ridiculous.
I do too. I was genuinely shocked. You sent me that message. I was like, "What are you talking about?" Like,
well, it just happened when I sent you that message.
But like, even the relationship, from my understanding, that the NFL as a business has with the owners, with Roger Goodell, with the national game at this point is what we could call it, right? This is our game, and it funds a lot. It supports a lot of markets. It pays a lot of money in. And it gives a lot of entertainment. Just giving you all that. I felt like before this, like the NFL and the DOJ, I know it's Department of Justice, but the government had a real good relationship. I'm wondering, just like you, where and who submitted this and wanted to have this conversation about, the antitrust that the NFL, they feel like is taking advantage of.
Right.
And I get it too. Like we've discussed, like everything. To me, I feel like the biggest case that needs to be brought is through Ticketmaster or StubHub. Yeah. Like that to me is where it's problematic on consuming and watching and have it to where you can enjoy events. The money that's been spent out is allegedly between $770 and $1,500 if you have every subscription. That is, of course, as you said, one of the cable networks, Prime, Amazon, Netflix, whoever else, right? Like that is the issue where they're making a lot of noise about, in my personal opinion, the primetime games on this one. Yeah. It is Christmas games, you got to have Netflix. Thanksgiving, you got to have Prime, and et cetera, and so forth. The NFL came out, and as you said, too, like 80% of our games are still available to you in certain markets. Now, what will happen if the DOJ wins, though, is this: more competition for other networks or streaming outlets to make it cheaper for you. So they were saying in this article, me looking at it, where you can just have it if you live in San Diego. I just want to buy the Titans package.
Yeah.
Like, instead of saying I got to buy the entire package to watch just one or two games. But I feel like most people who are consuming football want the ability to watch whichever game they want to anyway, because if you only buy the Titans subscription or the Browns or the Steelers subscription, What happens if there's an intense game and you chose not to buy into the packages as well?
Yeah.
Maybe rolling the price back, having that conversation is a part of why this has come up because everything's expensive these days. I have a bigger issue, though, with live events than I almost do this, if that makes sense to you.
Well, I mean, like I said, most people are already paying for Netflix or Prime for other reasons, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, heck, my dad watches all the Spanish shows with the subtitles and everything on Netflix. He watches every crime show that's on there. And I mean, I know they got Prime too. Because you can also roll in, like on Prime, you can roll in if you have Apple TV or if you have Paramount Plus. That all rolls into Prime.
It does.
So, like, I understand that everybody has it, but we're talking about Christmas Day games, Christmas Eve games. Okay, in the big scheme of the NFL, that's not that big of an issue.
It's not. Most people are still either comatose from eating too much or watching.
Right.
Just watching whatever's coming on regular local television as well, though. It's pushing. This is based off the 1961 antitrust agreement is where it stems from as well. It's like this was for TV, and it needs to be amended, basically is what it is, to speak about, I guess, what you're allowed to do with streaming and how you choose to price it out. Because they're just basically what they're doing, presenting these deals to Netflix. Netflix bought, was it $50 million or whatever it was of TV revenue, I guess, from the NFL, and we just had to have Netflix to watch it.
And listen, if you're a Titans fan, you don't have to worry about it because you're not good enough to be on any of these primetime games and subscription games. Hey, I got to get started early in the morning.
Create a little violence.
The Wall Street Journal first reported this news, but writing that the nature and scope of the Justice Department's investigation were unknown. So we still don't know the full nature of what prompted this and the full scope of this investigation. I'm sure that will come out here over the next few days or next few weeks as well. We'll keep you guys updated on that. Coming up next, what's going on with volunteer basketball, Ramon? I got some questions for you. Got JP Estrella and some other stuff, and we got, of course, all the football stuff happening as well over there in Knoxville. This is Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone.
7:04, good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Nashville Predators in the last away game of the season fell 4-1 to the Utah Mammoth Thursday night. Eric Holla on the power play in the third period scored the Predators' lone goal. But if you look at the wild card spots in the Western Conference playoffs race, Utah, they clinched a berth last night with the win in the West, and they potentially have their first wild card spot. As for the second, LA Kings beat the Canucks last night. They jumped the Preds for that second wild card spot with 85 points and now have a game in hand over Nashville, who host the Minnesota Wild tomorrow afternoon at 4 o'clock at Bridgestone Arena. A Masters update as round 2 will get started just a little bit. American Sam Burns and reigning Masters champion Roy McIlroy both tied for the lead at 5 under. Americans Kurt Kitayama and Patrick Reed, as well as Australian Jason Day, tied for second at 3 under par. And as for Dixon County product Jackson Harrington, he shot an impressive 4 over yesterday and tied for 56, right around that cutout line for tomorrow. In men's college hoops news, former Tennessee forward J.P. Estrella is committed to Michigan per ESPN's Pete Thamel, delivering the Wolverines a top product in the portal. Estrella has 2 years of eligibility remaining and averaged 10 points and 5.4 rebounds per game in just over 18 minutes played. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once, and your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Yeah, give me some Guardians of the Galaxy going this morning. Love it. Love it. Listen, nothing like a James Gunn trailer, by the way. You know, Guardians, the director of the Guardians of the Galaxy and all that, director of the new Superman movie, but also is behind, the new Supergirl trailer and everything. Played something. What Happened to the Broken Hearted is a song in the new Supergirl trailer, and it just fits so perfectly with the theme.
There's a Supergirl trailer?
Yeah, oh yeah. They had a Punisher trailer came out yesterday for they're going to do this is my big nerd moment. So the Punisher May 12th is going to do like an hour kind of like special on Disney Plus, and it's going to be, it's called Punisher One Last Kill. It's going to be pretty good, but the new Supergirl trailer is awesome.
Okay. I had no idea. When is the release date?
June 26th, I believe.
Okay.
So it's coming up here soon. And did you watch the new Superman movie?
No, have not.
Oh, it's on HBO Max. Speaking of streaming services, so you got
streaming.
HBO Max.
Yeah, why are we not suing those people there, right?
Right.
That's what I got more of a problem with is HBO Max and everybody else.
But it's on HBO Max, and it's really good. I've really enjoyed it.
So The Punisher is new, but available on HBO Max.
No, The Punisher will be Disney Plus. See, that's the thing, is all this stuff is everywhere. So anything Marvel will be on Disney.
Get my notes
anything DC Comics or Warner's will be over on HBO.
God,
I know. You got to get those notes. You got to get it all situated and everything.
Okay, I got to look at this Supergirl trailer on the commercial. It looks awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
And this is theaters.
Yeah, it's be in theaters.
Okay, all right, gotcha.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the Tennessee Volunteers, though. So there's a lot going on that I want to talk to you about.
Going on right now. We got Brent Hubbs coming up next as well, and maybe he can answer some of these questions more informed because to your point, there's a lot coming out of Knoxville right now.
And I don't want to put Brent Hubbs on the spot or anything.
Oh no, we don't put Hubbs on the spot.
This idea, I was told this, I guess when it happened on Monday or Tuesday, I can't remember what day it was, and I saw the tweet from Knox Sports News over there, and the women's basketball team does not have a player on their roster. And I'm looking at it, and Ramon, I'm double checking the handle. I'm making sure it's a blue check mark, making sure that their tweets are actually verified and there's no parody on the profile. That sounds like an insane statistic that doesn't make sense. No women's player on the basketball team. The University of Tennessee women's basketball team, a prestigious program like that. I mean, what is what's going on?
A lot. A lot. As somebody that walked on that campus with the legend Pat Head Summit, she was one of the few people on campus, man, that I was just in awe of. You ever met somebody who's like, And that was me. I was like, that's Pat Summitt. Talked to her, shook her hand, and you understood what she was about. And the business that she tended to at all times was the Lady Vols and building the women's game and making sure that all her girls graduated college, making sure that they had a standard of working hard, respectable, and everything else. And right now, whether it be all Coach Kim Caldwell, whether it just be the girls, whether it be the former assistant coaches or just the system that they were running.
It could be NIL, too.
It could be NIL, but clearly, if you listen to baseball Vols, that was a big conversation, whether true or not. And from my understanding, it wasn't as true as they made it seem because the baseball budget is very high.
Yeah.
And they were allowed to spend. I'm not sure how much money they were looking for, but when you call yourself, and that was one of the questions I got to ask Hub, I was going to mention too, is when you call yourself an everything school, it gets expensive. It also creates a lot of different lanes in which people expect more money and more. The expectations for winning gets a little bit higher too. So by the way, they got like 3 girls signed.
Yeah, so they're telling me that the Kim's in her bag. We're up to 2 now.
Yeah, we're up to 2 and 3. I think the Georgia commit is still in the conversation with us as well. But the way I look at this, man, understanding how teams are without knowing those girls, those ladies, and Coach Caldwell, not even a little bit. This doesn't just happen because of one person.
Yeah.
You've been in situations of locker rooms or businesses yourself where when a big blow up happens, everybody's at fault. I'm not sure if they got to the University of Tennessee and realized that either the system isn't going to work for them because these are McDonald's All-Americans that are out now. These are highly rated girls that ended up leaving the University of Tennessee that other teams are going to be clamoring over. Like Talaysia Cooper's already committed to Ole Miss. Like that was a quick entry into the portal and quick commitment as well. So what you're also dealing with, and we don't speak about this enough on the women's side, like the ongoing recruiting never stops as well. I heard, or at least it was reported, like the recruiting happened in games sometimes with these other schools.
Yeah.
Like just giving eyes and giving winks and nods and, hey, eventually somebody's agent will reach out and stuff like that. A lot of this fan base, Vols fan base, is blaming Kim. Now, I can understand that. She's the last woman standing. She hasn't publicly spoken about it at all, so it makes you point fingers at her. But again, we're talking about young athletes that's dealing with a whole lot of money on top of both of your coaches, one being fired and the other one being let go or chose to leave to go to other places. When you have that much just chaos, I'm pointing fingers at everybody. I'm not minimizing this situation because this falls on Coach Kim Caldwell's resume.
Yeah.
This is a part of her history moving forward that she lost every girl at the University of Tennessee and her 2 of her assistant coaches. So it falls on her. Either she was getting undermined, right, by somebody, or lost respect from the girls, because you can't tell me in her first year she goes to the Sweet 16. And the next year, you pretty much just get gold booted out of town with every girl on your roster. Something happened. I don't know. I don't know if they'll ever tell that story. Some of the people are blaming the coaches on social media and the girls. Some of the former athletes, Lady Vols, will come out and was like, no, it wasn't them. So who was it? And I don't think we'll ever get that answer. I just know this, as rich of a history that Lady Vols basketball is, there is a lot of hurt fans and people and supporters of that brand that, I got to be real with you, I think Danny White's got to help make right.
Mm-hmm.
Kim Caldwell's got to win. This, to me, she recruited girls that, either higher talent that she was used to and didn't know how to handle because, like I know, you're an Alabama fan. There are certain things I'm sure that Derrick Henry wasn't allowed to. Maybe not under Nick Saban. But, like, everybody has different treatment for the Cowboy player that you become or are. And coming from where she's come from, as far as the lower division that she's been at, Marshall being her biggest school last year or 2 years ago, I beg the question, are you used to this? The expectations, the pressure, the talent that you also have to coach? Did your coaches recognize that you weren't ready for this as well? Because the girls that she had in her first year with the Vols were hustlers. Tess Darby and those girls, like, they were go-getters. They had a method in which they understood what it means to go hard. And if she didn't, Coach Kim Caldwell, have the respect to push and force those girls to play in her system, and she was getting undermined by her assistant coaches, that's how you implode an entire program right there. There is no other way around it. So as many people that I've seen blame Coach Kim Caldwell, I got fingers for every single one of them.
What's always easier to blame the last person standing, right?
Oh.
And I know that there's a good chunk blame Danny White. I mean, right now, a lot of his hires, Josh Heupel has worked out good, but the baseball team, hey, it's new coach. Got to give it time.
Let me say this one, though, too.
Okay.
The baseball hire.
Yeah.
Fans, you need to raise your hands on this one. Y'all asked for this one.
Yeah.
Danny, I'm not sure what direction Danny White was going in, but there was a virtual riot. Okay, if Coach Josh Elander didn't get that job after Tony left, you remember that?
I'm telling you.
So Zach, they can blame Danny all they want on this one. I'm drawing a line in the concrete on this one, and it's dried up. You can't cross it.
I like it.
If you were saying, Danny, you better hire and make the right. Don't get mad with where this team is, and there's always the adjustment after you hire the guy after the guy. Kalen DeBoer is dealing with it.
I was about to say, you took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Hey, Kalen DeBoer is dealing with it, and Kalen DeBoer, I understand, is a good college coach, but man, that program has been in a transition period because he's got to get his guys in there. Now, I know with Elander, it may be a little bit different because he was already on the staff, right?
Yep.
But it's still a transition. It's a new voice wanting to do things his way. He's not wanting to do things the Vitello way.
Right.
He's wanting to do it his way, and that is an adjustment period for players.
It is, and the voice is different.
Yeah.
Right? The way Tony acted was different. You have this coach who's usually, been a third base coach?
Yeah.
And he wanted to do third base, and he realized he needed to go to the dugout. Like, there's a difference. So as far as the Elander and baseball balls go, they just got to eat that one if you're a fan of it that's complaining right now.
Right. Well, you talked about agents and entering the portal and then finding a team really quickly. JP Estrella found his team very quickly.
How?
Was there we joked about it on Cover 2 yesterday. It was like, hey, maybe there was a little talk in the handshake line after the game was over that, hey, why don't you come over here?
Crazy work right there.
Yeah.
But again, the players are playing and the agents are working behind the scenes.
Yeah.
If people understood how much communication was happening nonstop between the players on the teams and how much they're getting versus them sharing the same agents and those agents leveraging more money for this guy because I'll just tell him to hop in the portal. You need both these tackles, and I need both of them to be paid because I know what this one's getting broke off too.
Because you're not going to enter the portal without having some idea what your market is and where you're going.
Some of them do, though.
Some of them do. But I would say like a guy like JP Estrella, he probably knew where he was going. Easily. All right, we'll talk about all that with Brent Hubbs of VolQuest. We'll be talking about him about that, spring football practice, and everything going on with Knoxville sports, brought to you by Ascend Federal Credit Union, your financial partner for every way of life. This is Ramon Will here on 104.5 The Zone.
It happens all the time. You go buy a game day ticket or hotel room, and when you check out, there are a bunch of add-ons and fees that totally change the price. The same thing happened at car dealerships, man. You see one price online, and then you go to the dealership to find out they've added a bunch of accessories or service plans that you did not know about. I'm telling you, not at Two Rivers Ford. At Two Rivers Ford, the price you see online is the price you pay. Everything is transparent and upfront. There is no bait and switch, no funny business at all. Just honest pricing from a family-owned dealership. There's a reason Two Rivers Ford has been Middle Tennessee's award-winning Ford dealer for decades. Local, honest, real. Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone. And now, thanks to Ascend Federal Credit Union, your financial partner for every way of life. We're going to go to the phones. We're going to go to Brent Hubbs of VolQuest over at On3. And Brent, I guess just give us the state of the union on the women's basketball team, the Lady Volunteers. What's the latest on that whole situation, and what are your thoughts on how over the last week it's gone from 0 players to now 2 to 3 players on this team?
Yeah, she's building building a roster, and she's got 4 visitors coming in this weekend, and obviously they hope to do well this weekend and put themselves in a situation that they're close to halfway done to building a roster back. And this is, this is not something you typically see, but when you start doing some research on it, it happens more frequently than you think, that people lose a lot of players. And no one expected her entire freshman class, which was so ballyhooed a year ago, to all vacate and be gone. But that's the world we live in, and the portal, you got to go do work. And she targeted the 2 players that she has committed, Naomi White and Avery Mills. She targeted both of them very early. They got Mills in town hours after the portal opened, and got White in town 48 hours after it opened, and starting to build the process of building it back and building it in a way that she wants to build it. So, I mean, a lot of pressure on her to get it right. It's hard to get this many right. We'll see what it looks like when it's all said and done in terms of what she's put together. But clearly starting from scratch, and here we go.
So do you think this is going to become a little bit more commonplace, maybe not at all the sport levels, but maybe at the women's basketball level where, hey, NIL, money, transfers, that there could be a lot of teams, and this is kind of like the beginning of something that is going to be the new norm?
Well, I don't know that it's going to be the new norm on the women's side, the whole way through or anything like that. I mean, I think we're kidding ourselves if we're going to sit here and say that all of those players left her program for more money. Because I think there was clearly some other things going on, some things in the locker room, some things where people weren't comfortable. So that wasn't it's not a money grab for all those players to leave. On the men's side, absolutely. And I think you have to look at it this way. In the NBA, when you factor in 2-way contracts, there's 540 spots in the NBA. There's almost 6,000 Division I basketball players. That does not count Division II, Division III, nor does it count players that come in from overseas. So the earnings potential for a college basketball player, way less than 1% make the NBA. So do you capitalize on the money you can make while you're in college for 4 years? If you're a college basketball player, probably should, right, Ramon? Yeah. I mean, we don't want to hear it. That's not what we want to hear. We want to hear loyalty. We want to hear 4 years and guys that we get to know and all those things. But you look at let's look at a Cade Phillips. If Cade Phillips can double his money that he was offered at Tennessee, and Tennessee did their offerings based on the formula that they put in front of him. If Cade Phillips can double that this year and next year, Cade Phillips not going to play in the NBA. Right. He doesn't have an NBA game. Okay, so to make any money, he's going to have to go play in the G League, which pays you $44,000 over 5 months, and then you got to go get a regular job, or he's got to go overseas and play, or he can make 2 years of good money in college basketball where all of his expenses are basically paid. He doesn't have to buy any food. He's got to pay rent if he doesn't want to live in a dorm, okay? But otherwise, he doesn't have a ton of expenses, and he's got a nice little nest egg to start his life with. That's why you're going to see the portal movement on the men's side always be high, because financially, for a lot of guys, it makes sense to move because the earnings potential in professional basketball for them is just not going to be there on a consistent basis like it is. I mean, a practice player in the NFL makes more than a G League player does, or guys playing overseas in a lot of cases.
Well, speaking of that, JP Estrella, entered into the transfer portal earlier this week, and then has found his way yesterday at Michigan. What about that JP Estrella situation do you find interesting, I guess, in the way how quick it was that he got to Michigan, but also what kind of hold does that leave on the Tennessee men's basketball team?
Well, they've got to go. I mean, they got to go get post players. They've lost 3 post players when you factor in Jalen Carey, who I think is in the same scenario that I just mentioned a second ago about, making as much money as you can while you're in college. But they've got to go get post players, and you're going to see Tennessee bring in a couple of guys. They're bringing in the kid from Loyola this weekend, and we'll see what that happens there, and then who else comes in. But I mean, Tennessee has a formula that they believe in, and I don't know what the formula is, and Lord knows I don't do math, Ramon. But it's one of those deals that's a formula that they believe in and where they value someone. And they make their offers to players based on that value. Now, there's some wiggle room in it. Don't get me wrong. It's not hard, it's not a hard, fast number. I mean, if you think somebody, has a higher ceiling than maybe what the formula says, could you go higher than what the formula says their value is? Sure you can. But Tennessee has their value, and they presented their value to J.P. Estrella, and Estrella felt like he could get more elsewhere. Felt like he wanted to go play elsewhere, and so he departed. And so Tennessee now is going back and looking for guys who can be productive offensively and defensively. They've got to get a rim protector. That's a priority for them, and I think that's why you're seeing them start in there with that. When you talk about the Rubin kid who's coming in, Miles Rubin from Loyola, that's a guy who averages nearly 3 blocks a game, and he's a rim protector guy who also had put up some offensive numbers. So Rick Barnes is going to go find a rim protector. He's going to go find some post players who can finish at the rim, and then he's going to go find shooters and scorers on the perimeter. And I think this will be a very offensive-minded portal class for Rick Barnes and the staff.
We're joined by Brent Hubbs of All Question on 3, also letting him know I am working today, and Will took off. Ha! Take that.
Whoa. Now listen, I've been on the show for about 4 or 5 minutes here, bringing some valuable information. Yeah. I was very kind to you this morning and didn't take any shots at me. And now you want credit for the fact that you've worked like 4 weeks, 5 weeks in a row, and Will's taken 1 Friday off in the course of the last 6 months.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say, spoiler alert, Will's off next Friday too.
Well, I understand that. I mean, the hope is he's going to get married one time, right? So, I mean, we understand that he gets the opportunity to do that. But Ramon has been talking about the need for an off day for like 4 weeks now.
Well, he had one Monday, didn't you?
Hey, y'all ain't supposed to tell him that.
Wait a minute. You took Monday off, Ramon?
I did.
So we stacked 3 full weeks out of you, and then you had to have an off day. Are you taking next Monday off because you got to work tomorrow?
Nope. I'll be the worst portal kid ever, Coach. I need more money already. Hubs, I just had to, man. I'm here for you, okay? Let's give people more information, though, if you're okay with that one, man. I'll see you tonight or tomorrow. With that being said, this question's been lingering in my head for a while. Since the last 2 weeks with all the stuff that's been going on with the Lady Vols and the Vols. Danny White's back under the social media gun again. With everything that's happened. Hubs, I have to ask you, how long can you be in everything school? Because that's become the mantra. How long can it last with the amount of money that you pour in year after year? Or is this just the way it has to be moving forward?
Well, I think the question that you have to ask is what is the definition of an everything school? Is an everything school, I mean, everybody's view of that's different. Does that mean you're going to have the largest salary pool in every sport that you put on the field? Is being an everything school a decision to make a financial investment to every program that they have a chance to compete and win, in this league? I think everybody's version of that and definition of that is different. I think the perception of everything school was when Tennessee put it out there is they were in the postseason in every sport and all of those things, and you're still trying to get there. And you can get there. But, I mean, Tennessee's not going to pour as much money into women's basketball as South Carolina and LSU are, or UConn is. And it's not just about the roster number. It's not just about how much they're paying players. But, I don't think Danny White's in a position he wants to play a women's basketball coach $2.5–3 million. Wow. I think that's why Kim Caldwell was the coach, and he decided to be competitive in that sport. He was going to pour more money into the roster and less money into the salary pool for the assistant coaches, and that's why you didn't see him interview somebody who was making $2 million a year. Does that mean you can't be good in that sport? I mean, she went to the Sweet 16 in year one, so I mean, I think everybody views everything school as you win a championship in every sport. Well, let me know when somebody does that. Let me know when somebody's winning a championship in every sport at an individual school. So, I mean, I think that the priorities have not changed, okay? And this is not what necessarily people want to hear, but football's always going to be king. It will remain king at Tennessee and at every SEC school, okay? And then it's men's basketball. And then I think you're looking at baseball as a sport that could be profitable. So your investment level there is higher than it's been. And your investment level has to be pretty high there to be competitive in this league. And then, and then you're at women's basketball and other sports, behind that. So, I mean, I think you can. I don't know that you market it the way Tennessee has been marketing it for forever, but I mean, I think within reason, with whatever your definition is, yeah, you can be in everything school, but you can't assume that to mean you're going to play for a national championship in every sport. That's the goal, but that's not realistic.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. That's a great answer right there, man. And I see if you can give us another answer, man, on this quarterback competition during spring ball. Is it clear to say, though, that Faison has really made this thing an even race up there in Knoxville between he and George McIntyre?
Yep,
it is. Wow.
I mean, here's the thing, that it was going to be a race. I mean, they weren't going to settle anything this spring. They weren't. And I think Faison has done a nice job this spring. Has he been perfect? No. Was he great on the practice field yesterday? Nope. Was George probably better on the practice field yesterday? At times, I'd say, yeah, he was, based on everybody I've spoken with. Here's the thing that I think got lost, and I'm to blame for part of this. I'll put some of this on me too. I think there's just been an assumption that George was way far ahead of Faison because he had been here for a year, but he had not taken a bunch of number one reps. He threw 7 passes in the season last year and played only in 3 games. Unlike Nico coming out of his freshman year, George didn't play the bowl game and kind of lay the gauntlet down and get a full game under his belt. So the notion that George had this big lead or had a real lead going into spring ball is probably unfair and probably not realistic. Did he know the terminology better? Had he been in meetings? Yes. Had he been on the practice field? Sure he had. Had he been getting pressure, number one reps against number one defense and, dealing with all of those things? He had not. He probably spent more time doing some scout team stuff than he did Tennessee stuff during team periods and things like that. So, I don't think he had this big lead coming in. So I think we all act like, oh, Faison's really closed the gap. Well, I don't know that the gap was that big. I think this thing was always going to be a race. But you thought maybe there's a chance George would come out of spring with some kind of lead because he had been here. And that was probably unfair to George. He's got to be more consistent. Faison has to be more consistent. And it is game on this summer for these two guys to try to determine who's going to be the starting quarterback. And I think part of game on with this, Ramon, and you've been a part of this as a player, who do guys gravitate to? The players know, right? I mean, players know. And so this summer, where does that go? I mean, where are guys gravitating to? Who are guys kind of believing in? Where's their confidence level in somebody? I think that's going to be an interesting storyline if we can get any real fuel for that, starting on Monday, going all the way through to fall camp opens up in August.
No doubt. What has been, we talked about him a lot when he got hired, but what has the first spring been like for defensive coordinator Jim Knowles and some of the guys that he's brought in and how they're performing and looking? Does it look like like a traditional Tennessee defense, or are there going to be some struggles, Hub?
Well, I mean, there's I think you wonder about the pass rush with the front four. Can they get there? Can they get home with their 4? Do they have to bring a lot of extra people? What's going to be the brand of Jim Knowles' number one defense? I think they feel confident on defense because they're ahead of schedule with the install stuff. and then he will adapt and he will tweak out of that. And I think that's the one thing that we know about Jim Knowles, and I think it's probably something he learned a little bit from his 1 year at Penn State as well, is you just because you're going from one Big Ten school to another Big Ten school doesn't mean you can do everything the same as you did it at the previous stop. And I think Jim Knowles is kind of referencing back to his Duke days and his Oklahoma State days of, okay, what did we do well? What's our personnel allow us to do well? And let's build around that within the framework of our system and play to that strength. I think it's something he learned with David Cutcliffe. I think that's something David Cutcliffe learned at Ole Miss, and then obviously employed at Duke as well. And you saw it when Cut was back at Tennessee. I mean, Lucas Taylor, who I love, great kid. I mean, is he one of Tennessee's all-time great receivers? Probably not, but he's a 1,000-yard receiver at Tennessee. He's one of very few guys who have 1,000 yards receiving in a single season because he was the best weapon, and Cutcliffe played to that strength in the passing game. What's the best personnel grouping that Jim Knowles has to deal with on defense right now? You feel like it's the linebackers. So what does he do with his linebackers to provide to make them the strength of that defense? Do they blitz more? Do they play more linebackers? Do they do different things with their linebackers? How does he incorporate that strength personnel-wise of the defense to make his defense as effective as it can be, particularly if they're still trying to find a little bit of a pass rush and you got some newness in the secondary? Do you play to your most veteran group and maybe your deepest and most talented group, which is the second level of the defense?
Hubs, just real quick, you can answer short, you cannot answer, but it's been a lot of conversation about a Chaz and not Lanier. What's the issue? Is there an issue with Chaz Coleman?
Yeah, he's got to go to the practice field. He's got to commit to it harder. He's dealing with whatever personal things he's dealing with. But at some point in time, Chaz Coleman has to make a commitment that he's going to put in the work and he's going to grind 7 days a week the way he needs to if he's going to be a factor for this football team this fall. He's not getting ready to get thrown off the team or anything like that. But he's had some health things. He's had some things that have bothered him. Even going back to the end of last season, back in November, there's some things that he dealt with that, kind of plagued him, but he's got to work through and push through. And I think that's the message that Chaz Coleman's getting. I mean, you're not going to show up and play on Saturdays. Okay. You're going to have to push everything through and go through it. And, that's where it's at. And it's kind of in his court to push through that. So we'll see what happens with him over the course of the next, few weeks, moving forward as they finish out the semester and get ready for the summertime deal. I don't find him to be a great distraction, Ramon. Okay. I don't think it's one of these deals where he's dividing this thing. Now, this is not a Boo Carter situation. And I know that's where a lot of people want to go.
That's been the conversation
right
Josh
there. Did Josh not learn anything? But Boo Carter was one of the best 11 defensive talents on the field. And Josh Heupel did not handle that situation very well at all in July and August last year. Chaz Coleman's not practiced enough to even know if I don't know. I mean, the guy's got one career sack. He's got a ton of potential, but he does not have a body of work like Boo Carter had after his freshman year at Tennessee. So Chaz has got to earn his way. He's got to earn his stripes and earn his way through. Before any of that. I mean, if Chaz Coleman comes back, for anybody who assumes that he's going to just step into some major role as a starter or whatever because, he was a high-profile, transfer portal talent, it is mistaken. He's got to go prove it. Whereas Boo Carter was a lot more proven after his freshman year. You were expecting a big jump for him, but he had proven he could play at the level and had been effective at the level. And then, he did his thing, and Josh Heupel allowed that to happen. This is not the same scenario in that regard. They're not comparable, in my opinion.
Gotcha.
Awesome. Thanks for all the information, Brent Hubbs of On3 and VolQuest.com. And thanks for keeping Ramon in line. We need that on a Friday.
Ramon, you're going to make it, right? We're going to see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm just
there.
making sure. Are they having to send like a PJ for you, or
Wow.
are they sending like a car service for you? Are you treating this like a recruiting trip, or what are we doing tomorrow?
I continue ever since I stopped on the second floor kneeling and saw what the Founders Club looked like, Hubs. Yes, I do need a PJ, okay?
Yeah.
Whatever you can put in my contract, Hubs, I'm signing off and put you something in there too, okay?
I don't have a contract. I'm not important enough to have a contract. Only you get contracts. So if you can get me a crumb here or there, that would be awesome, Ramon. I would appreciate that.
I'm gonna get you a whole loaf, man.
Yeah, there you go.
Hubs.
There you go. We greatly appreciate it, Hubs. And Ramon is your problem tomorrow.
Take care. Thanks,
All right, see ya.
Appreciate it.
That was Brent Hubbs of VolQuest.com and On3, of course, brought to you by Ascend Federal Credit Union, your financial partner for every way of life. I wanted to get into the quarterback situation over at University of Tennessee just real quick. Got a real quick question when we come back. So coming up next, we'll talk about that. This is Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone.
This is a different court, Blair.
Same result, Slay.
Oh, okay, Blair. See, that's Tyler Tanner. See, Tyler Tanner's in the house now.
Let's see what you got. Jerry's out, Blair.
Blair, come on. Okay, Blair, just come sit down. Come on, Blair, stop. You're going to get hurt. Blair, get off the court. That's enough.
United Structural System isn't just another repair company. They're your local foundational
Hardcore,
waterproofing
injury
experts.
law.
They
They
live
ain't
here,
got
they
no
work
rules.
here, and they understand exactly how Tennessee soil, the weather, and homes behave. So they've been serving homeowners across Tennessee for over 30 years. Yes, that's been since 1994. More than 30,000 local homeowners have trusted USS. That experience means they've seen every type of problems that our homes face. They know how to read those signs too, and they know that every crack or leak tells its own story. In USS, they know what those signs mean. They pinpoint the problems at the source, whether it's foundation settlement, basement water intrusion, crawl space, moisture issues, and more. No guesswork, all right, y'all. Just expert diagnosing from the people who know and understand Tennessee homes. And their engineering solutions, they're built to last, man. The solutions are engineered to stand up to our local conditions. They have an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. And the cool part, transferable lifetime warranty. So when you sell your home, that warranty goes with it as well. Just gives you another peace of mind. All right. To get a free home inspection, simply head over to USSTN.com. That's USSTN.com.
All right, Ramon and Will. Loving the music choice this morning. Ramon and Will here on 104.5 The Zone. I'm Zach Lyons filling in for Will. Got Ramon across from me. We were talking to Brent Hubbs of VolQuest and On 3 about the quarterback situation. And we've talked about this on Cover 2, and I wanted to get your thoughts on this, Ramon. Faison Brandon versus George McIntyre.
Mm-hmm.
If it's close, and even, let's say if it's close, like let's grade it. Like it's A- for Brandon Faison Brandon, which is always going to trip me up. And George McIntyre is an A, like an A- and an A. Maybe that's a 94 and a 95.
Mm-hmm.
Do you go with Faison Brandon if it's that close? Because he is the guy that you probably want to go ahead and just get the experience to. Is the offensive line ready for that?
Is the offensive line ready? They better be. Okay,
No matter really who's back there.
And I only bring that up is because they're going to be two young guys regardless.
Yeah,
and teams are going to attack your youth the same way the Titans saw it with Cam Ward last year. They attacked him because he was young. He don't know anything. You're not used to the speed. But to answer the original question, I think they go with Faison.
Yeah.
And going with Faison means a lot of things. It's not that George is bad. It's just that they see a better future and execution from him, because that clearly is looking at the VolQuest War Room from Brent Hubbs. That seems to be the issue is right now Faison is executing better, taking care of the ball, understanding where to go in the poise. Like the whole entire offseason we've had about George McIntyre and the weight, that plays a part in it too, because when you get to the SEC play, you know this as well. Taking care of your body. Last year, when you look at Ty Simpson got beat up a little bit when he started getting hit from time to time too. Like
once Oklahoma sent out their game plan, everybody started copying it. And man, he took some hits.
You got to be able to take those hits in the SEC or the Big Ten or not Pac-12. Big 12, because it does matter. So if you got to worry about that, and Faison comes in already ready-made, he's over 220 already. I know he's shorter in height, so there's more compact weight, but these are the things that you have to worry about when you're worried about managing your young quarterback for 12-plus games. Those are the things that you have to look at. I think Faison wins it. If it really does boil down to it being a 94 to your point or 95. And it's because he's younger, more malleable, and you look at it and say, if George takes the starting position, that means you got to sit Faison. How long can you make him sit, right? While still recruiting other quarterbacks as well. To me, this pathway would have been set up to be perfectly stated that, okay, Nico would leave after this year if he'd had a good year. First-round draft pick, second-round draft pick, whatever the case may be. George walks in. George does his year or two. Faison comes in as well. Well, Nico left. Now you're forced to go get Joey. Now there's a void of young guys that are trying to win a starting position right now because that system got jacked up because of the Nico departure. I'm not blaming Nico in any kind of way, but I think that's the way they was trying to stagger this is, okay, you go from one to the other to the next. Kind of the way Oregon's been doing with their quarterbacks or Ohio State as well. They just been staggering guys, and you go get a 3 or 4 star here or there in between just as support to have them on roster. But I think Faison may end up being the hard reset into the next phase of recruiting, because if you get him as a true freshman starter, you got freshman, sophomore year. By his junior year, he should be leaving, and then you get another 5-star in the fold.
Well, he's never had, and Josh Heupel's never had back-to-back starters at quarterback, right? It's always been a different quarterback at starting. Been. And so with Brandon, which is, I hate that his last name is a first name.
Brandon,
but with Brandon, you have that chance, but also a chance for a huge second-year leap.
That's true.
Which means that you have an even bigger leap heading into year 3 if he is still around and everything, right?
The Arch Manning trajectory, right? Yeah.
So for me, I'm like, if it's close, even if George McIntyre has a slight edge, I'm going with Brandon, because that if I'm also Josh Heupel, this University of Tennessee fan base, not trying to throw shade or anything, they can flip on a dime sometimes.
Well, who you telling?
So I mean,
wild out here.
Yeah, it gets wild out there.
We're pretty wild out here. I think we like it too.
Yeah, I'm sure. And so I like it. Well, if Josh Heupel makes the wrong decision at quarterback and he goes with George McIntyre and maybe only wins 7 games, maybe wins less than 7, people are going to be looking at him under a microscope.
So that's why I asked Hubbs, what does the everything school means?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's context to winning games.
Yeah.
Right? Like, in what years you choose to win. Like, 7 wins in year 1 with a freshman quarterback might mean 10 plus in year 2. can you stomach that with the amount of money that you got to continue to spend to be relevant?
Right.
Or asking the fan base, Zach, I need $100 more from you every month. Like, this is what I mean by like tempering expectations almost as well with like being a fan of college sports in today's world, because this money, like JP Estrella might have gotten $4 to $5 million to go to Michigan. Just think about that.
Woof.
Think about it. And you mean to tell me that you got to do that again? On top of that, the Vols got to replace that talent and spend for a premier center, probably a shot blocker, $2.5 to $3 million themselves. Like, this is there needs to be something to happen in college sports.
Yes.
But as a fan, I'm almost, and I know we get emotional, it's going to go out the window come August.
Yeah, that's right.
It's going out the window. But we probably got to sit back and change expectations, because there's not expectations, but emotions, because there's only one natty. And yes, you're going to spend money, and the tickets are expensive, and the gas is high, and the food in the stadiums is expensive. Emotions got to be put in check is the way I'm looking at it. And on top of that, we're playing non-SEC teams. And that's not just the Vols problem. That's everybody in the SEC problem right now.
I mean, it's been hard as an Alabama fan. To your point, I love how you just put it. Adjust the emotions, not the expectations.
Not the expectations.
And it's been hard because, I mean, I lived through it last year. It was a roller coaster for me. Like, I mean, and Blaine makes fun of me all the time because of how, it took a while for me to take the crimson glasses off to objectively evaluate Ty Simpson, right? Because, I mean, Alabama looked like crap against Florida State. And I'm sitting there at my in-laws' house watching this game, and I'm getting texts from my dad, and we're both hating on Ty Simpson. And then you go back and watch it, a couple of weeks later, and you're like, okay, well, it wasn't Ty Simpson's fault, right? But that's what we're used to. We're in this emotional state when watching these games. And you guys have experienced some recent success. Alabama has had a string of recent success over the years, and there is an emotional adjustment that needs to be made. And this is a good year, I think, for you guys over in Knoxville to go with Faison Brandon and allow to maybe keep your expectations, but adjust those emotions and be able to maybe just enjoy a season and watching a player develop before your eyes that maybe he turns into what you thought Nico was going to be. Because we're not even thinking. I hadn't thought about Nico until you brought it up in like a year.
Think about what his departure did for the timeline of these quarterbacks.
Exactly. Exactly. All right, coming up next, let's do a little reset, talk a little bit about the NFL, the Department of Justice, and a little side note about that whole thing. And then we'll also get into Tennessee Titans draft talk, 615-737-1045 if you want to get in on the conversation. This is Ramon and Will on 1045 The Zone.
8:05. Good morning, live from the Circus Sports and Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Nashville Predators fell 4-1 to the Utah Mammoth in the last road game of the season on Thursday night. Eric Holla on the power play in the third period scored the Predators' lone goal of the night. And if you look at the wild card spots in the Western Conference playoff race, Utah clinched a playoff berth last night in their win over Nashville and potentially the first wild card spot. For the second spot, the LA Kings beat the Canucks last night, and they jumped past the Preds for that second wildcard spot in the West with 85 points to the Predators' 84. They also have a game in hand over Nashville, who will host the Minnesota Wild tomorrow afternoon at 4 o'clock at Bridgestone Arena, which would start a 3-game homestand to close out the season. The Masters update as round 2 is underway this morning. American Sam Burns and reigning Masters champion Roy McIlroy tied for the lead at 5 under par. Americans Kurt Kitayama and Patrick Reed, as well as Australian Jason Day, tied for second at 3 under par. And as for Dixon County product Jackson Harrington, he shot an impressive 4 over yesterday, tied for 56, right around that cutout line, which will be tomorrow. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans involves this is 104.5 The Zone.
Ramon and Will, 104.5 The Zone. Man, those 2 hours flew by fast. I'll be honest.
Absolutely.
I love it. And that happens on Cover 2 all the time.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, show open, and then we're all of a sudden we're saying in the meantime and in between time, peace.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. But loving it. All right. So we were talking about the Department of Justice versus the NFL. We're talking about the antitrust lawsuit. We don't really know the full scope yet of that, but they're basically saying, hey, we're going to investigate all these streaming deals that are not exempt from the antitrust exemption that you guys already have, NFL, so we're investigating that. But a big proponent of this, and I understand not everyone has Netflix, but over 74 million households or users do exist in the United States in Netflix, and there are 134 million households. So a little bit over half of people have Netflix in the United States. So I understand not everybody has it. But another thing these streaming rights do affect is the salary cap and the money the players get paid because they get a chunk of the broadcasting deal. So this is a real, I know fans may not like it. Players are pushing for it too.
Yeah, absolutely, man. To that point, as an NFL alum myself, I look at this and I personally am just like, hello, now y'all are affecting my 401k and everything else that goes into it, because the growth of the league is what Roger Goodell and the owners are all about. And they have a goal of, I think, $27 billion revenue by 2027 or whatever the number is at some point in time. I think they're ahead of schedule. They may end up hitting it in the next year. Well, this year, if I'm not mistaken. But either way, that's what it's been all about. That's the reason they're playing games in Australia. That's the reason they're playing. I think they're going to try to get to a point in which, Zach, we may end up getting an international game every weekend. That's just where it was. You remember when it used to start after week 4 in the NFL season, the Thursday games and stuff like that, or you didn't do the international. So this antitrust, as far as the licensing go, I'm wondering, where is it coming from? Is this just your regular everyday consumer that is tired of paying between $750 to $1,500 for a subscription to watch all the games? The NFL has come out in defense of itself and just pretty much said, too, no, you're watching 87% of the games for free. It is where I guess everybody's at home where you start to recognize, why do I need Peacock? Why do I need Netflix? And to your point, though, Zach, all of us have those streaming networks. We got all of them, I feel like, in my household. Just because
I know we do.
We consume sports, and that's just been the norm. The issue is, and I can understand this as well, what if you are a person living in Washington State and you choose to say, hey, I only want to watch the Miami Dolphins? There are ports, I think, in this deal or in this investigation that can allow buyers or streamers to only buy Miami Dolphins packages. But you know what the issue is going to be, right? What happens if you want to watch a highly contested game on Christmas? Well, you only bought this single package right here. I do think there needs to be tiers. I do think there's a compensation that has to be had because we live in an economy right now where salaries aren't meeting what spending is costing you. So if instead of paying $4.99 for Sunday ticket or whatever we pay, is there a $1.99 package?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I do believe in fair competition, but it's a matter of football is our thing in America. That's no excuse. But from the time August hit all the way through now February, we consume it, and we consume it in droves each and every day.
It's the highest they've had in forever. Highest eyeballs on their product in forever.
What do you have an issue with what this is right now?
No, and I guess maybe it's just because I've been in the streaming world since its inception, right? Like I cut the cord many years ago. I haven't had DirecTV or anything of the such since probably 2014, 2013. I mean, I've been streaming since streaming has become a thing.
We cut ours maybe 3-4 years ago.
I think I may have had it for 1 year when I moved to Nashville, and that was in 2015. So, I mean, like, I haven't had it in forever. I have been a pure streamer.
I was Xfinity for the longest.
So,
it took me a while to let go of the box.
Yeah, and it took a while. I think my parents have cut the cord now 5 years. We just, I think, are trying to convince her parents to cut the cord. So, like, they still have, the box, if I'm not mistaken. So, I understand, everybody's situation. I'm just, I guess, a little numb to it because I've had Peacock since its inception when it came out. Yeah, when Paramount Plus, because I've been doing Hulu, and then when those channels would leave and you couldn't add that to a Hulu live TV package, you have to pay for those. So I've just kind of been paying for them. Now I've got them all bundled together, and I understand not everybody's able to do that.
No doubt, and that's what they're arguing for.
Nowadays, if you have Xfinity, depending on if you have internet or cable, Peacock will actually come with it. Like I have Peacock for free with Xfinity internet.
Well, now I just had Uber Eats, who sends you way too many notifications, by the way, every day, which is wild. But I open up Uber Eats and it's like, oh, well, you get a free Peacock membership. When we moved to 2021 up to Goodlettsville, I got Hulu, ESPN, and Disney Plus bundled together through my Comcast AT&T internet.
Yeah, AT&T gives
free.
A subscription. Yes, they do.
And I was like, well, this is great. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get all these together. So, yeah, I mean, my parents are now using YouTube TV. We use Hulu up in our area. So, yeah, I understand that it's. I think the worst part about this whole thing is how we just named off about 15 streaming services. That's the thing. Like, I hate having to figure out where I have to go to watch a game.
I agree.
And I think that's the worst part about the whole situation is that there's just not one size fits all for the sports world community to watch a game. Because even if you want to watch MLS, you got to go to Apple TV. If you got Predators have just now next year made it easy for people to watch their product, but it hasn't been easy. I didn't even know they had switched from Bally to FanDuel at some point, and I'm like, well, that's no wonder I'm not watching any Predators games because like I didn't even know they switched. And so like I think that's the big issue is that it's so hard to keep up where everything is. Like FanDuel, please just stay out of it. Yeah. Like let's just try to limit this to a couple different places.
Can you reel off all of yours? I have mine. I got YouTube TV pulled up. You mentioned Apple. We got Apple Plus.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it right now. Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, Prime, Peacock, HBO Max, Paramount, Stars.
I have all those except for Stars. But instead of Stars, I pay for BritBox on Amazon Prime, where you get all the British shows and BBC shows and all that stuff. Because I am addicted to crime shows, and they have the best drama, like televised scripted drama series. So you get to watch all those, and like I just watch way too much TV. Yeah, but I've had that issue since growing up.
That's been the thing about the box though too. The box is cable.
Right.
Cable had all of this.
Yes.
In line for us. And so we have YouTube TV. YouTube TV still requires you to buy certain entertainment packages. Do you want the 4K version of it? Do you want SEC Network, Big Ten sports packages as well? Like there's a lot that comes into it that when we were back in the 90s, I guess, having DirecTV or whichever one we were using, like you had 1,000 channels and all of them were included in it if you bought the packages, and you didn't have to have it on your app or your phone all the time, or hey, just switch over to this app to watch a Christmas game.
Yeah. What I do love about the streaming service versus that is that when you were with the box, you were locked into a contract.
Yes.
When you're with the streaming services, you can actually turn off and on your NFL network or your sports packages. So when Red Zone was happening with YouTube TV, when they were exclusively at YouTube TV, I switched to YouTube TV. Didn't have to really do anything, talk to anybody at Hulu. Switched to YouTube TV, turned it on, turned it off. Wow. So I only had to pay for when it was actually being used, but at the box, you had to pay for it the whole year.
Time. This is true, too.
So that is the convenience of being. Then when it went back to Hulu, I was still, because Hulu has their own dramas, and you can't get those on YouTube TV. I switched back to Hulu because, hey, Red Zone's back on Hulu now, so there you go.
There's a lot. What I didn't like, though, too, is the specific sharing of a brand or a service. Like, I hate it because the neighborhood I lived in while I was playing in Pittsburgh and I wanted to see other games, they didn't support DirecTV, if I'm not mistaken. So I couldn't get Sunday
is a big
Ticket.
thing, yeah.
Yeah, certain neighborhoods couldn't get DirecTV and in general. And I couldn't get Sunday Ticket. So that's where it was problematic, which is why I made the switch to YouTube TV as well, because that's where Sunday Ticket is right now.
Yeah.
It's a bit much. I get the DOJ's part in this too. I just don't know if they'll be successful in actually executing this.
Yep. 615-737-1045 if you want to get in on the conversation. Let's move to some draft prospects that could be polarizing for the Tennessee Titans coming up next. This is this is Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone. Ramon and Will, 104.5 The Zone, powered by this Celsius drink I just finished because I'm going to have another energy drink later in the day. So this will be, hopefully my heart doesn't give out. I'm at 40. I got to start taking better care of myself.
Are you not a coffee guy?
I am not a coffee guy. So I've come to this conclusion about coffee. My whole family growing up, no cream, no sugar,
Straight
coffee,
black.
straight black. Okay? Basically, my whole family. So my first exposure to trying coffee was that.
Wow.
So I've just never been a coffee person.
Okay.
And so back in my day, there were no Starbucks and stuff like that in Florence, Alabama, or anything like that. So I'm just not used to. So I just never got that craving. So here's a fun fact. You're not supposed to drink any kind of caffeine, including coffee and your energy drinks, till you've been awake for at least an hour.
You know what I heard Offset said too is having at least 4 ounces of water before you take in caffeine. My brother's read a book on it. My brother Renardo in Louisville, he was like, you should be drinking about 4 to 8 ounces of water before you consume caffeine. So that's the reason I'm always hammering water in the mornings. Therefore, I feel like my caffeine hits a little bit better when I drink water beforehand.
You should also eat something as well. It shouldn't be the first thing on your stomach. Is essentially
It's coffee.
what it is. Yeah.
Fascinating.
It can bloat you.
Well, that explains why I burp so much in the morning. My first exposure to coffee, I loved it from the beginning. My grandma used to have the instant coffee, the Folgers in the glass jar, the old school jars, whatever. I put some in a cup one time, loaded it with sugar. I fell in love ever since.
Yeah, back then it was just like you had Folgers and but maybe you had like Maxwell. If you maybe had like 4 brands of coffee and you only had like 2 types of coffee.
Yeah.
Under those brands.
Folgers and Maxwell House.
I'm going to lay down a fact for you guys, or at least directions, that I had no clue that this was how you were supposed to use this product. Did you know that before bed is when you're supposed to put on your deodorant?
Huh?
No joke. Have you ever read the directions on your deodorant?
Never.
So I took a picture this morning.
Never.
Yeah. So it says right here, and I got my picture. So if you guys are on YouTube, there you go. It says directions apply to underarms only. So obviously don't put it on your forehead or anything. But before bed, apply 2 clicks of product to each underarm.
Before bed.
Before bed.
What is 2 clicks?
Swipe, swipe.
Click.
Swipe.
Yeah. Well, no. For me, I use the you click it at the bottom to move it up.
One? Yeah.
So it's click.
No, I actually take a shower at night before bed to remove the deodorant from my body.
Apparently, you're not supposed to.
Yeah. Well, take a shower, then immediately go put it back on.
Yeah, then you got to put it back on before you go to bed.
Yeah.
I don't know what the science is behind that. Now, listen, I do have to use like the kind of like little clinical protection, 72 hours, and all that kind of stuff. I never keep it on for 72 hours.
Right.
So I don't know if it's like a settling issue or something like that, but apparently.
Because you sweat in your sleep, maybe?
I guess so.
Or
I
get
definitely
warmer
do.
in your sleep. That might be the only reason why I can think of that. What in the world?
But it says before bed, apply 2 clicks of product to each underarm.
So do you, apply
I have not done it.
Do you do 2 clicks in the morning too, just to make sure you're not musty pits?
Yeah, I do 2 clicks, boom, get it on there, and you rub it in until it disappears.
That's crazy because everybody's trying to get everybody from using deodorant, stop using the aluminum and all that type of stuff.
Right. It's very interesting, very interesting. All right, let's go to the phones. We were talking about the lawsuit, and we have a caller that has called in that wants to talk about the lawsuit. So we are going to go to Andy in Clarksville. Andy, you're on with Blaine and Zach. Nope, you're on with Ramon and Zach.
You almost forgot who you were. Good morning, gentlemen. So I'm Gen X. I've been around a while. I'm back from when I was a kid. My job was to go up to the TV and change the channel because remotes weren't a thing quite yet, at least not for middle-class folks. So we lived in Fredericksburg, Virginia, which was exactly 50 miles from D.C. and Richmond, 2 different media markets. So of course, both markets would get the Redskins game, but the second game of the doubleheader would often be different depending on the market. So we would have to swing our antenna depending on if we wanted to watch the NFC East game or the Steelers game, and it just depended on who they were playing, who was good. and all that. So that was kind of like an app before that. And then when we got cable and got all of 22 channels on our big cable package, we had a second TV that stayed hooked up to the antenna pointed at Richmond, so we could have, two TVs going for NFL Sunday. And my mom, of course, this was in like 1983. She's going, 2 TVs? Whoever thought of such a thing? And so we'd watch, Richmond in black and white on the old black and white TV. So, is this so new? No. But, hey, with the antenna, at least it was free.
It was.
Yep.
It was.
And I still use an antenna, by the way. I have one to get all the free games because also, sorry for hanging up on you there, Andy, but there's a delay on these streaming services. So if you're constantly online during games, you're going to get a lot of stuff spoiled for you. So when we watch the Titans games here, I have a little antenna hook up to the TV over there, and we watch it so we can watch it live, and we're ahead of everybody else.
We had antennas my last year in Pittsburgh because we had gotten rid of cable for a while. We recognized we weren't watching it as much as what it was though too, and we had the antennas in the living room. They're actually better these days too. I'm not sure.
Oh, man, it's 4K, man.
Really good now.
Yeah.
Sure in the heck are.
It's awesome, and they're great. Okay, so polarizing prospects, and we want to hear from you guys, 615-737-1045. Polarizing prospects the Tennessee Titans could draft. And I'm going to let you start us off because I do think you have a really good one to kind of like start the conversation on. So who is your polarizing prospect that the Titans could draft?
Caden Proctor. I think him. Not at the 4th overall pick.
Well, that would be very polarizing if it was the 4th overall pick.
Yes, it would. I think even him in the 2nd round is somewhat polarizing. And I would even throw this out there as well, depending on how the first 3 picks of the NFL draft goes, or if the Titans, the conversation yesterday started, somebody projected the Titans moving back to 12.
Yeah.
I think if you take Caden Proctor in the 2nd, which is a good thing in my personal opinion, or if you take an offensive lineman again in the 1st round, that's any one of them, Zach. It doesn't matter which one it is. It's going to be. But Caden, to me, I think with what he was projected to be versus what you're drafting him at is probably one of those conversations. And then the other one is I think he's worthy because he's number 1 in this group by some. But I do think Carnell Tate would be polarizing as well. Yeah. Those are my top 2.
I feel like this fan base would be more forgiving for Carnell Tate at 4 because he's a wide receiver. Like he gets the wide receiver bump.
For sure. He gets the bump because the necessary need to always have one.
But I go back and I look at a guy that's never had 1,000 yards. I'm sure maybe that's not his fault he didn't get 1,000 yards.
Right.
But you hear what scouts say about him, and you hear what coaches that played against him, defensive coordinators, said about Carnell Tate. We never had to double him. We never had to put roll coverage to his side. And we wouldn't have done it even if Jeremiah Smith didn't exist on this team. And I'm like, okay, those are people that game plan and watch film on how to stop a guy. So what our NFL defense is going to think about Carnell Tate? Can he make them pay for that decision? Because I don't know if necessarily he did that on a consistent basis at Ohio State. But he gets the wide receiver bump. He gets the Ohio State wide receiver bump as well. And I'm not saying that he can't be successful, but is he going to be 1,000-yard wide receiver? You're drafting him at 4. You're saying he's a top 5 player in this draft. Is he ever going to be a top 5 wide receiver in this league? Jeremiah Love could be a top 5 running back.
Already.
Sonny Styles could be a top 5 linebacker. Will Carnell Tate ever be a top 5 wide receiver in this league? I have a hard time saying that because I go back to Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison Jr., Mika Ibuka, and even Terry McLaurin, if you want to go back to 2019.
Was Jackson Smith and Jigba?
Jackson Smith and Jigba. I did not mention him. I don't
think he'd be in that ilk, though, because he was drafted a little bit later, and he was not projected to be a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. He became that because he was behind Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, and then when both of them left, now you see what he's able to do. But he also ran a slower 40 time, similar to what Carnell Tate just ran.
He was a 20th overall pick.
But let me say this about Jackson Smith and Jigba.
It's not top 5 worthy.
And he also no. But here's the other part. That's his NFL stats. What's his college stats? He also had 1,600 yards in 2021.
Yeah, then he got hurt. The questions around him were surrounded his hamstring issues.
Here's what I said about Jack Smith and Jigba coming out of the draft, and it's documented because I found it the other day in a tweet. Week 1, day 1 starter for the Tennessee Titans for Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Wow.
I thought Jackson Smith and Jigba was the best wide receiver to come out of Ohio State at that time. Now that's one man's opinion.
And
one
it's
man's
time
opinion.
stamped, though,
Yeah,
Zach.
it's
absolutely
time stamped. One man's opinion, and I understand it. But I think that when you watched how he ran routes and everything, and I understand the hamstring was an issue. But when I talk about those 6 wide receivers that we just named, Carnell Tate is either 6th or 5th, or I guess 7th or 6th on the list.
Yeah.
He's not clearly nearly the prospect that those guys were.
Not super fast.
But in this draft, he is. And that's the issue is that when you are talking about this draft at wide receiver is very odd because it's deep, right? Like I think you can find a guy at day 2 or day 3 that could provide you.
But even think about what you said. We can find a guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you're picking top 5, like especially where the Titans are, to your point, and I'm glad you were hammering that down. Are they going to be top 5 at that position if you're picking them top 10?
Yeah.
And the thing that I got to say about Carnell is probably no. Like, and that's the reality.
And will he ever even have a top 5 season? Like, not even just be consistently a top 5 wide receiver. Will he ever be a top 5 season kind of guy? Now, if he landed here, Brian Dable, he does feed his wide receivers. Yeah. He found 170 or 180 targets for Malik Neighbors, and he found 140 targets for Wan'Dale Robinson in the same season. But then I go back and say, do you really want Cam Ward throwing the ball that much? I'm not convinced that's a good thing that he's having to throw the ball that much. That's not a knock on Cam Ward. It's just that we saw last year he was better when the running game was being used.
It makes living hard is what you say.
Yeah.
When you know you're going to get the ball out that quick. You mentioned, so Carnell Tate, I think, hits high on that list of polarizing guys that you could bring in. Caleb Downs, because it's a non-premium position as well. And he also had a little bit of injury that they kind of buried as well moving forward. I got another one for you.
Okay.
He kind of hits close to home, but he is by some the number 1 corner, and that's Jermon McCoy.
Yeah.
In this year's draft, is he top 5? Probably not. But if you move back to 12 and Jermon is there and you're trying to plan for the future, do you take Jermon?
Listen,
or are you on what is it, Mansour Delane?
Well, I would say this. If I was choosing between the two, I'd probably go Mansour Delane.
Mansour, yeah.
But I think it's close. But I would also throw in my polarizing prospect in with this conversation at 12, Jordan Tyson.
Really?
I mean, Jordan Tyson has everything, even on film, everything you would look for and be able to say that could be a top 5 wide receiver in this league. The problem is can he stay healthy? I kind of put this into Stoney's perspective recently, was like, if you got T. Higgins and averaged 12 games a year out of Jordan Tyson, because T. Higgins notoriously can't stay healthy, but when he's healthy, he's good.
Yeah, he is.
If you got that versus 16 games of Carnell Tate, which one do you want? Now, he went the 16 games with Carnell Tate, but that's kind of the discussion you're having in those rooms. And Jordan Tyson, specifically for the Tennessee Titans history of just injured players in general with concerning injury histories, doesn't really work well in Tennessee for what. I don't know if it's the water here in Nashville or whatever. So he would be, I think, a polarizing guy. I don't think he gets the benefit of a wide receiver bump.
Okay, understood. So I got another one for you, too, as an injury guy as well. But his injuries, Jordan Tyson's, are when he was at Colorado, missed the last 3 games, left knee injury. Arizona State, when he ended up transferring in 2023, redshirted but missed most of the season rehabbing a knee injury again. Yep. In 2024, Arizona State missed final 2 games, left collarbone. And then this past year's 3 games. So it's decreased.
Yeah.
It's decreased. I'm making light of it, but it's decreased just slightly. So if that's the case, and you talk about his injuries, if you go into the second round, then, Zach, are you okay with? Now, there are more options. But Chris Bell, who's coming off of ACL from Louisville.
See, that's another one. Like, how far does he drop? before you're comfortable. Because I know there's a lot of people like that are okay taking him at 35, and I'm like,
we've said as a show, like,
and I love him as a
give him
prospect.
room to grow.
Yeah, I love him as a prospect. I don't think I'm taking him at 35.
You taking Jeremy Bernard over him? I know our good friend Teron Davenport is high on Jeremy, and I know. Look, I see your crimson showing.
Well, let me say something. Like, if you want to talk about the best player consistently on Alabama's team last year, it was Jeremy Bernard.
I thought it was going to be Jam.
And we talked about it yesterday on Cover 2. Ross is high on Jeremy Bernard. Blaine is. I am too. I love him at 35, especially if Denzel Boston and Omar Cooper are gone.
You taking those two over Jeremy? Because I feel like Jeremy's got that sneaky, not Anquan Bolden, like Anquan Bolden reliability, but a better athlete. You remember how Anquan was always ready for you?
Yeah.
Like one of those types, or Steve Smith Sr. Steve Smith was always ready to go.
Bernard is interesting because he doesn't have anything that really wows you when you talk about him. Like Omar Cooper has the yak. Right, but Jeremy Bernard also has yards after catch ability and broken tackle ability. Denzel Boston has the size, but Jeremy Bernard's no slouch. He's over 6 feet.
That's what I'm saying.
Denzel Boston also is a long strider. Well, Bernard can get deep. Like, we saw it. People don't really realize how much he can get deep and get open deep. I would say I would take those other two guys, but if they decided that they wanted Bernard over those two guys, that would make him polarizing because a lot of fans want Denzel Boston or Omar Cooper. But I wouldn't be surprised if teams thought Bernard was the safer pick out of those two guys.
Yeah.
But Cooper coming from a pretty easy system, RPO system.
Yeah.
You have Denzel Boston, who didn't run a 40, questions about his long speed and stuff like that. I don't really have those questions, but I can understand why people would. Bernard is just steady Eddie.
You know who he reminds me of? Emmanuel Sanders.
Ooh.
Steady, can fringe a 1 if you need him to be, but probably fits into a very solid 2. Probably faster than Emmanuel was out of SMU at the time, but like he fits that mold to me. Like if you're taking him in a second, somebody has an injury or it's his day, he can be your 1.
Yeah.
It's the way I view him, and that's what E was, especially when he ended up going to Denver with Peyton.
And if you put Bernard opposite of Calvin Ridley with Wandale in the slot, you have pieces that can do and be moved around. And I do think Bernard's, I know everybody gets caught up on the alphabet, X, Y, Z, and all that kind of stuff.
He's using to play
receivers.
Everywhere. Right.
Yeah. Bernard, you don't need a traditional X. All that really differentiates an X and a Z, to my knowledge, is that one's on the short side of the field, one's on the longer side of the field, and one's a little bit off the line of scrimmage, one's on the line of scrimmage. Like, we're talking about inches in a game.
Right.
And if you can play wide receiver, that's all this team really cares about and needs right now. And Bernard is one of the safer prospects, and we brought him up yesterday because Blaine said he's the guy that nobody feels like nobody's really talking about. And I think he has a real shot to being one of the better. He may never be the 1,500 guy, but he may always be the 900, 800 guy that gets you 5 or 6 touchdowns, right? That if you get that guy at 35, that's good value. That's your Harold Landry of wide receivers, right? Like, he's never going to be the double-digit guy, or he's never going to be the 1,500 guy. He's going to be a guy that's super productive in here for the long haul, and you could do a lot worse. Bernard was the best player on that Alabama team.
I roll with you there.
Every week,
most
week in,
consistent
week out.
For sure.
Most consistent. All right, we'll talk more polarizing players coming up next. We'll also get to your phones. We got some phone calls coming in about the NFL draft. 615-737-1045. This is Ramon and Will on 1045 The Zone. Ramon and Will here on 105 The Zone. I'm Zach Lyons covering in for Will. We've been talking about polarizing draft prospects and for the Tennessee Titans. And just to give you guys an update, it appears, according to Justin Mello, with the sharing of photo from Jordan Vandenberg, defensive lineman from Georgia Tech's Instagram account, that he is currently visiting the Titans facility. So Georgia Tech defensive lineman Jordan Vandenberg. Don't ask me. I can pull up Stoney's notes on him, but don't ask me a lot about Jordan Vandenberg. Right. And then North Carolina State tight end Justin Joly, 92 catches, 1,150 yards, 11 touchdowns past 2 seasons, is visiting the Titans Monday through Tuesday of next week. So there you go. So we got a couple tight ends. I know local product Sam Roush is doing the local pro day. We know that they visited also locally with Eli Stowers, who some may think he's going to be a wide receiver. Mm-hmm. So we're talking about polarizing prospects. Before we get more polarizing prospects, let's go to the phones. Go to Albert. Albert, you're on with Ramon and Will.
Morning, Al.
Hello.
Hey, what up, Albert?
Oh, no, it's Alvin, like Alvin the Gym.
Oh, Alvin.
Come on, Hawk.
Butcher my name, Butcher. But no. We good. It's all family. It's all love.
No doubt.
My question to both of you gentlemen is, I'm biased. I like Sonny Styles.
Come on, there we go.
The reason why I like him for the Titans is because you can do multiple things with him. But my question to you fellas is, if it comes down to, okay, they have to stay there, and they just like, hey, it's either Sonny Styles or Jeremiah Love. Mm. If you're the GM and you never get that opportunity to pick that high again, what would you do? Because, I mean, players like that just don't come every year. Like when Andrew Luck came out, they say, hey, he can start day one, and look what he did day one. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He was a winner. He just didn't have a line behind him. So if you was there and you could pick either one of them, who would you pick? Because you might not pick that high again. Yeah. I'm gonna hang up and listen.
Hey, we appreciate it. Listen,
perfect.
I'm a Jeremiah Love
guy. And I'm a Sonny guy.
Yeah.
So this is good.
It's good.
This is good.
And here's why I'm a Jeremiah Love guy, because I understand defense can also help a young quarterback. But I look at it this way. Jeremiah Love's best years are in his contract once he's drafted. His best years start now, right? So he grows, and you get the best out of a player at the same time your quarterback is the most fragile. Mm-hmm. Like your young quarterback is in its most fragile state. And you're adding a guy, in Jeremiah Love's case, that can catch the ball, can recognize blitzes, pick up pass protection. Mm-hmm. He can run routes. He can also run between the tackles, be a home run threat, be your short yardage guy. Like he has a lot of duties that he fills, a lot of check marks on the list that in some teams' cases takes 2 running backs to do.
That's true.
And so he not only makes it easier on Cam, he makes it easier on your play caller. For game planning purposes, he makes it harder on the defense because now they're having to account for Jeremiah Love. How many safeties are going to have to creep up where it makes it easy for Cam Ward to read the defense pre-snap. Now, that's where I would go. But
you even had a better point off air. You said, though, too, looking at the quarterbacks around the league. Yeah. We can carry this into the next segment, too. We've been pushing it all day.
No, sorry.
But you mentioned as well, like, look at the best years that some of these tweener quarterbacks have. You want to elaborate? Like, I'll give you one that I brought up and I thought of after you said it. But Marshawn Lynch to Russell Wilson.
Yeah. What about Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones? Daniel Jones got paid because Saquon Barkley helped hide a lot of his deficiencies. Yeah. Blake Bortles and Leonard Fournette.
Ooh, yeah.
Hey, Dak Prescott, his rookie year as a 4th-round quarterback, his rookie year was drafted the same year they spent a top 5 pick on Ezekiel Elliott, and they ran the ball number 1 rushing attempts in the NFL with a rookie running back, number 30 in pass attempts with a rookie quarterback, and they went 11-5.
Saquon to Hurts.
Yeah.
You mentioned him as well. You got to look at also Nick Chubb, the Baker.
Yeah.
We could continue to go like there's. I think that's the one thing Cincinnati's almost been. Joe Mixon was there, then he was gone.
Yeah.
Joe ain't had a run game since though. Joe Burrow, of Cincinnati,
and look at how much he's getting pounded. By the defensive linemen and everything. And he's getting injured because they don't have to fear the run game.
Yeah, I agree with you. It aligns with what the NFL doesn't tell us though, because these two positions are non-premium.
Yeah.
Now in the NFL, but if you look at the importance of them. They hit Baltimore with what's their inside linebacker name? Baltimore Ravens.
Roquan Smith.
Roquan, like the good
they traded for him, but
but they needed him. And look at the defense
him.
since. So my stance is I'm a Sonny Styles guy.
Yeah,
through and through. If it's me, I'm with you, Alvin. I'm taking him because I don't think you're gonna find yourself in a position to where you can find quote unquote cheap labor for a position like that teams are now paying $20+ million for a year for Palmeiro. And he's got the athleticism, he's got the attitude for it. When you watch his tape, he's good left to right, he's good north or south. He can drop back in coverage, and not just that, he's good at and behind the line of scrimmage as well. He had last year, six sacks, and also tackles for loss, 10.5 tackles for loss. He can get in the backfield. I've seen him run through tackles. I've seen him also in a position where Arvell Reese is on the same side as him. He outrun Arvell to the corner to make the tackle as well.
You're preaching to the choir on this one.
I know we both love both of these guys, and here's an opportunity to get one of them, which, again, Alvin, to your point, you don't want to be drafting in the top 5 again next year unless you've traded for some capital. I view it as this. That defense is set for a young off-ball linebacker to let him grow while you still got Jeff there, or you still got John Franklin Myers and everybody else that's surrounding him. He, to me, helps the middle of the field in which this team can say, front four, go get him. We got you on the back end, while also hiding the deficiencies of what's been known in Robert Saleh's defenses on the back end. He can help at least drop deep into zone coverage or cover a tight end or be a cleanup man up the middle too, because as much as Jeff works up the middle, having a cleaner like him, to me, would do numbers for that defense.
Let's talk about the positional value of these two players coming up next, because I think there's a discussion between replacement production and replacement value. And I think that is the discussion we need to have when we're talking about these players. This is Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone.
It's Ramon Foster for Medical House Calls. That's exactly what they do. You call them and someone from the medical field will show up to your house. It is actually healthcare designed for your life, and I absolutely mean that. 7 days a week, they're available to you from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. They have same-day appointments available most times, but they have a next-day guaranteed of whenever you need to get in. I'm talking about everything from your primary health, urgent care if you have an issue going on that you need to get checked out right now, IV therapy, or even medical weight loss. Because for a flat fee, you can get an evaluation, full exam, treatment plan, and prescriptions if you need it. That's the beauty of it. This isn't just somebody that's having random people come by your house. No, these are real doctors and nurses that will come and service you and be a concierge to the medical service that you need in your life. Whether you hate waiting rooms, you don't want to be around other people that are sick, or you just simply want the convenience of saying, hey, can you be at my house at 6:30 p.m. and I can just get me an IV in the comfort of my home while watching sports? They provide that to you. Listen, to book with them, simply head over to medicalhousecalls.com or call or text them at 615-838-2375.
9:04, good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Nashville Predators fell 4-1 to the Utah Mammoth in the last road game of the season on Thursday. Eric Hall on the power play in the third period scored the Predators' lone goal on the night. Looking at the Western Conference playoff race, Utah clinched a playoff berth in the West with the win and potentially the first wild card spot, leaving just one remaining spot in the Western Conference playoffs. The LA Kings beat the Canucks last night and jumped past the Preds for the second wild card spot. The Kings have 85 points to Nashville's 84. They have a game in hand over Nashville as well. Nashville tomorrow night will host the Minnesota Wild at 4 in the afternoon at Bridgestone Arena. Starts a 3-game homestand to start and close the season. The Masters update as round 2 gets underway. American Sam Burns and reigning Masters champion Rory McIlroy tied for the lead at 5 under. Americans Kurt Kitayama and Patrick Reed, as well as Australian Jason Day, tied for second at 3 under par. And as for Dixon County product, Jackson Harrington shot an impressive 4 over yesterday and tied for 56 right around the cut line. And Nashville Soccer Club, they return to MLS play tomorrow night as they play Charlotte FC in Charlotte. First kick is at 6:30 p.m. Central. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Break news at once when you're home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Ramon and Will. 104.5 The Zone. I'm Zach Lyons, and that's Ramon Foster. I'm filling in for Will. We've had a fantastic time this morning. This is hour number 4.
Quick.
It went by quick, I have to say. It's like last time we also had Cortland in the studio, so that went right real quick. It was me, you, Cortland, and Stoney.
Sure was.
I mean, that was a loaded show. And of course, we'll have Slay on here this hour as well.
Man, shout out to Cortland.
Yeah, Cortland the best.
He is super dude.
So we were talking about, the positional value of linebacker and running back. Our top 2 players, in whatever order you want to put them, sounds like it's Sonny Styles and Jeremiah Love.
Yeah.
And everybody's big thing about running back or linebackers, like, well, you can find those guys later in the draft.
That's what they tell
you. You can find a 1,000-yard running back anywhere. Well, there's a difference between replacing production and replacing value. And I mentioned this when we were talking about Jeremiah Love. Yeah, you can find a 1,000-yard running back, but can that 1,000-yard running back also pass protect, pick up blitzes, get the tough yards and short yardage situation, explosive play threat ability, manipulate in the defensive box? What about their timing on screens? Do you trust that running back in the red zone? Do you trust them to catch the ball in the flats? Like, those are the hidden burdens if you don't have a guy that can do all of that you're putting on your offense, because your play caller has to game plan and design plays and call plays based on the running back that's in there if you don't have a running back that can do all those things. And it's very hard to find a running back that could do all those things. It's easy to find a guy that can maybe carry it 250 times for 1,003 yards. Right. But can you find a guy that can carry it 250 times, do all this, and get you 1,200 yards?
Yeah.
And I think the same thing could be said about a linebacker. Sure, you can find a linebacker later on in the draft, but can he cover hook to hook?
Right.
Can he also trigger in the run game? Can he cover a tight end? Can he make sure that everybody's in their spots? That's a lot harder to find those kinds of guys that have that on their plate than it is just saying, well, you can find a linebacker in the 4th round. You can find a running back in the 5th round.
And that's what's so crazy about these 2 spots we're talking about, inside linebacker and running back, because personally, I feel that way about running backs.
Yeah.
I look at him and say, give me Isaiah Pacheco. We'll make him a star. You know what I'm saying? Like, and here's my stance on this too. I've lived that life too, as well. Going from, blocking a little bit for Willie Parker. He was injured towards a little bit of it, but Rashad Mendenhall, watching him turn into a guy. Weldon Moore's another one of those guys, and Le'Veon comes in. You know what I'm saying? And Le'Veon becomes a guy. We grew up all together, and he turns into an all-pro star. And then we have the situation, Le'Veon holds out, and next thing you know, boom, James Conner.
Yeah.
Pro Bowler the very next year. And so that's why my judgment is skewed on it too. But a lot of people have that same stance on linebacker.
Yeah.
Well, how good is this D-line in front of him? You know, when everybody look at Ray Lewis, they bring up the hogs that he had in front of him year after year after year. The point of it all, though, too, Zach, is this. You got to have a good team.
Yeah.
Like, the front end and the back end matches up all the time. The running back, usually, unless you're Barry Sanders.
You're right.
Unless you're him, the running back is leaning on an offensive line immensely. And that's where my only pushback on the Jeremiah Love conversation is there. I'm also looking at the Go Long TD article on Sonny Styles, and boy, the scouts got some stuff to say about
I
him.
was shocked.
Want me to read one?
Yeah, read one.
Reading is fundamental. Okay, here we go. This is popcorn reading around the class. This is from one scout on Sonny Styles. And it goes like this. He was born and bred to have a combine like he did. He's been running with a parachute on his back since he was 5 or 6 years old. People question his instincts. The bottom line is he's 6'5", 245, and ran super fast. That's all I can say. Look, there's a reason why he wasn't top 10 or top 15 until the combine. Speed, toughness, instinct. He's got the speed. The toughness is a question. The instincts are a question. So then you have to start having doubts about him. But with that body type, someone will always say yes.
I don't know what that scout's watching. I mean, that's where I get into some of this stuff. Like,
because before he did the combine, before he did any of that, I'm watching Arvell. Will asked me to look at the big three rushers. There was Arvell, there was Ruben Bain, and there was David Bailey. I couldn't stop finding Sonny Styles on the tape while looking at Arvell Reese.
That same thing happened when you watch Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson's good, but your eyes keep drifting over to Chris Olave.
I kept having to wondering out of him. So him saying he doesn't hit, his toughness isn't there.
The instincts I thought was out of this world incorrect too.
So,
and even before the combine, for me, the top 3 players in this draft were Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs, and Jeremiah Love. After the combine, the top 3 players in this draft were Sonny Styles, Jeremiah Love, and Caleb Downs. The combine shouldn't have changed anything because the film shows that's one of the 3 best players in this draft, and it just kind of tells you also how this draft is laid out. Like, if you want to make an argument against Jeremiah Love, this ain't the year to do it. Because there ain't no premier edge rusher. There's no premier wide receiver.
Quarterback is one.
No premier, quarterback. I mean, Fernando Mendoza, he's the highest in this class.
That's what I was going to say. We can have a conversation about that one as well.
So, there's no premier left tackle, right? And I know the Titans don't need all these positions, but those are the positions that you typically value. Well, there isn't that guy on any of these 3 guys' level when you look at the tape and look at what they're going to translate to in the NFL. And I was blown away because I told you to go read this article.
I saw it.
I was blown away by how they assessed Sonny Styles. It makes you, first off, this is why scouts get stuff wrong.
This is true.
This is how you end up with an Isaiah Wilson and stuff like that. Get stuff wrong.
100%.
And this sounds like a scout that is getting something wrong about Sonny Styles, because I thought my big holdup with the Arvell Reese is that he's not the best pass rusher in this class.
No.
And he wasn't the best off-ball linebacker on his own damn team. And I love Arvell Reese, but he is a pure projection guy at defensive end, and it comes down to the ceiling talk. And this is why I think David Bailey's going at number 2, because Aaron Glenn's got to win now.
Yes.
And you can safely say, I can win now with the pass rush if it's David Bailey, because I know what David Bailey is. With Arvell Reese, you just don't know what he is. You hope he's going to be good.
So I'm trying to find the failed Arizona Cardinals linebacker.
Isaiah Simmons or Xavier Collins? They had
Simmons.
2.
Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah.
Isaiah Simmons reminds me more of Arvell Reese, and that's what I'm scared of.
Yeah.
He's a weapon. The same way I think everybody thought Abdul Carter was going to come in and take the NFL by storm. I have Isaiah Simmons' thought process when I think about Arvell Reese.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating because another one of these scouts in this Go Long TD article says this. This is about Sonny Styles, but he brings up Arvell Reese real quick.
Yeah.
You've read it, but I'm going to give it to the crowd too. This is about Sonny Styles. He says, the lack of physicality was off. Zach, did you see?
I don't get it. What is everybody's watching? Like, did they choose like a game from like high school or something? Like, I don't.
So
get
it might be the old John Gruden prospect. You remember? You see what his scout said about him? He would bring in all the bad reps and make you hate a guy too. But it goes on to say he's not a quick trigger guy. Seeing him in person, he's so damn big and he is very, very smooth and well coordinated. That's bad. Give him some more credit. Give him some more credit and love for that. You're betting it all on the upside. Then he goes on to finish it and says this. With Reese, you see it, man. Styles, he made the occasional play.
I mean, I just, Ramon, when I read that on Saturday or Sunday, I text Stoney first thing and I go, Stoney, don't read the linebacker stuff. It's gonna make us sound so stupid for loving Sonny Styles. And I just don't get it.
So the last 2 years of Sonny Styles at Ohio State, I don't have Arville's pulled up. I'll try to get it real quick. But starting 16 games, all the games they started in, every game they played, he started. He had 100 tackles, 10.5 tackles for loss, and 6 sacks, along with a forced fumble and 5 pass deflections. In 2024, he also made second team All Big Ten that year. And in 2025, 82 tackles, 6.5 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, 3 pass deflections, and 1 interception as well.
So I got Arvell Reese. So 2024, he had combined 43 tackles, 3.5 sacks, 3.5 tackles for losses and 5 sacks. And he played in 16 games in 2024. Mm-hmm. In 2025, he played in 14 games. He had 69 combined tackles, 10 tackles for a loss, and 6.5 sacks.
They're parallel.
They are. I mean, but you know where you're putting Sonny Styles. The question becomes, what's your game plan for Arvell Reese when you're talking about these two prospects?
That's why the Isaiah Simmons conversation come up for me. Because everybody's trying to find weapon X.
Yep.
Everybody is.
And I think that sometimes when you do that, you fall into a trap of reaching for a guy that may not just be ready. And I'm not saying Arvell Reese is not going to be a good pro. He's probably number four on my big board. But also, I know what I'm getting out of David Bailey. It's like the mystery box and Family Guy, right? Like, oh, you want a boat? Oh, I could have a boat, but hey, I got the mystery box. It could be anything. It could even be a boat. So, like, I mean,
I know that episode. Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, it's tough. Let's go to the phones real quick. Let's go to Big T in Clarksville, who wants to talk the draft. Big T.
Morning, Big T.
You're on with Ramon and Will.
What's up, Ramon?
What's going on, Big T?
Will?
Well, I'm Zach. I just called myself Will.
You did call yourself Will.
I'm Zach. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Big T. I don't even know who I am. No, you're good.
It's the Titans that's going to do the right thing. Sorry, Ramon. I love you and all, man, but you got to draft Love, dude.
I'm not opposed to
it. You got a stud running back. You got to take him to help out Ward. But, hey, y'all don't be talking about Caleb Downs now. It's on the down low. He's going to fall to us at 12 at the Cowboys.
Oh, yeah. Hey, listen, Cowboys fans want them some Caleb Downs, and I don't blame them.
There's rumors that they move up for, like, Bailey or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
No. We're staying where we are. We're going to take Downs.
I got you. We were just, the trade conversation is coming out a lot right now.
Yeah.
Is them moving up to 3.
I wouldn't be surprised if they traded up for Reese to try to get their version of Micah Parsons. Yeah, again. And they got I could see them doing it. I could see them trading up for Bailey. I think those are the only two people that are going to be trade worthy in that top 5. All right, coming up next, Slay is going to be on the show. This is Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone. Friday. Sleigh Ride is here. This is Ramon and Will, 105 The Zone. Got Ramon Foster across from me. I'm Zach Lyons, not Will Bowling, even though I did call myself Will to the collar this last time.
Oh, did.
I did.
It'd be like that.
So I got to start with this. Slay, is it Kroger or Kroger's?
K. Rogers.
So you go K. Rogers.
Yeah, it's Kroger's.
But there's an S on the end.
Yeah, absolutely is. Listen, there's so many words out there that have a silent letter in it, and this is one that don't even. It's an imaginary letter on there. You know what I mean?
It's implied. It's like McDonald's, the A.
So what you're saying is you live in the world of make-believe.
No, what I'm saying is when I tell you I'm finna go to the store, you holler out what store. I'm saying Kroger's. You don't know which Kroger's I'm going to.
I understand
You don't know where I'm going. You know what I mean? It might be the Kroger down the street, could be the Kroger over here, but I'm going to Kroger's. You know what I mean? It could be any one of them.
Why would you go to multiple Kroger's?
Because I don't need no single desk. First of all, I'm going to tell you why.
Actually, I know why.
Yeah, no, meatloaf fixings is only in certain Kroger's out here, too.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So know that part now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you might be, you ain't really no cook or nothing like that.
Ain't
so
no
you don't
cooking
really
like
know
that.
what's going on.
See, because if you're in Hendersonville, you know that the Glenbrook one is really good. That's the Kroger's we go to often. But I'll say this, the Main Street Kroger's, they got a better cheese selection for our charcuterie.
Hey, listen, the Kroger's in Goodlettsville's no joke.
I frequent that. I stop by that one.
Produce a little iffy sometimes. You may get something a little expired in your bag.
Each one of the different Kroger's, Kroger's will have a different standard for it.
You gotta know.
I think the cheese department and the produce department on Main Street is legit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Kroger is one thing, but then when you go to multiple Kroger's, I understand what you're saying. Like, I'll go to multiple Kroger's, but if I have to go to one,
you just don't get it.
That's all.
You just don't get it.
It's being loud and wrong, man.
That's all it is. It's the one that everybody back at.
He just doesn't get it.
We
Like,
tagging each other in the class like, watch it, y'all. I'm going to say something crazy.
I was in college. Been alive since 1985.
Yeah.
Been going to Kroger since 1985.
80s babies.
It wasn't until 2003 did I realize there was no S in it.
I didn't realize it too, but somebody was doing something on the show here. I was like, dang, it ain't no S? Like, okay, well, it's going to remain an S for me.
There ain't no way. Like, once I know, like, Two-Rod Taylor. You're Tyrod Taylor. We ain't changing it in the 11th hour.
It's just like ETN. Now he ate H-A-N.
Come on now.
Good luck.
Come on, man.
I'm never calling him A-Chan. We already had Devon A-Chan, and it's spelled correctly.
Where's the C-H at the end? And then we look like, you got a T right there,
Oh,
sir.
it's like Travis Etienne.
Yeah, no, he changed it.
H-Chan.
Yeah.
Just like Devon.
Yeah.
Them all his brother.
Yeah.
Them all his brother. They'll both be
ETN.
Yeah, you had that moment in Georgia to change it. Like, or LSU and everything. Like, or Clemson. He was Clemson.
Don't get a little money, then all of a sudden you want to switch it up. Now, we knew you just like that, brother.
When Tyrod said that he was getting called Two-Rod, and that's how it's always supposed to be pronounced, I go, where's DU?
Like, this ain't pecan. Okay, I can understand that. You know what I'm saying? Right. I can understand pecan.
So it's always going to be Kroger's, always going to be McDonald's.
That's right. I don't know who was saying Mick.
That guy in there.
That's the one. That's why we always want him to stand in front of the class first, so we can all point and laugh. Just because he gonna be up there with some foolishness, McDonald's. So everybody, what? Come on, man. They ain't never had a value meal at McDonald's. McDonald's got all of them. You know what I mean? Come on, man. I do want to give a shout out to my guys out there, man. My guy Eric. As soon as I pulled up, he said, "Is that from Slate?" I said, "Yeah, man." He said, "I listen to y'all all the time, man. They out there getting that pavement in. I mean, got the parking lot looking crispy. So big shout out to them. They did it before the sun got all the way up.
Yeah, they've been there. They've been there.
They know what to do. You know what I mean? Yeah, so by the time noon, 1 o'clock hit,
they gone home.
Yeah, it's cover 2. There ain't gonna be no cover out here. The pavement gonna be covered. They gonna get on out of there.
Hey, I've been watching them out there too. The pavement crew, they hilarious.
Yeah, they have the ball.
They out there. You can tell you know you slow to get your morning going. And you just mock anybody. There's been people running outside. They running beside them and stuff. That's what the work need to be. Gotta have a good time when you're doing hard labor.
Because I still see people like all this construction. You got the dust rolling, and people are still running. You can't go any other route but this route.
Gotta go that way. I saw somebody running on the side that they're working on. I was like, don't y'all know how nasty that tar smell? And you choosing not to go across the street? Yeah, it bothers me, man.
It probably bothers them while they're running too, because they're breathing. And
I mean, but legitimately, they can just go across the street to lessen the funk. Mm-hmm. That's my thing. Why are you running next to this big machinery?
Well, streets that lead everywhere. Why don't you just?
Of course, running in Nashville is already a pain anyway because of all the hills.
Man, I saw somebody struggling. I'm gonna say struggling the other day up that hill. I was just like, "You not a runner."
I'm gonna tell you what'll get you.
What?
You go down West End. Like this is when I was trying to be somewhat in shape in my playing days. Took off running, and West End, you forget how hilly it is.
Oh, it got
Once you get right there by Marigolds and all that,
yeah,
man, it's a hill right there that's waiting on you.
Really?
Yeah, it'll get on your back. It got me.
Listen,
it got me. I start power walking.
I stayed at Vanderbilt for a whole summer in 2002. Back then, I could walk from Vanderbilt down to when they had the River concert series. I could walk all the way down to the river and walk all the way back.
Ooh.
I ain't even attempting it.
Oh, it's serious.
I'll get an Uber.
Yeah,
I'll get an Uber for like a couple blocks if I have to.
Listen, I'm the one that thinks everybody need to be given free opportunity to be employed. So why would I walk a mile or two? When come on, man. These
Someone
people are working
that.
hard. Yeah, come on. Man, come on, I'm a tribute to them, man.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. That's I don't know what was worse right there. That or doubling up on scooters. We talked about that last week.
Scooters.
You an insane human being if you're riding 2 to 1 scooter.
Yeah,
I ain't got that much trust.
I can't believe scooters are still a thing.
I'm scared on them.
Like these Lime scooters. I see them thrown off the bridge on the interstate and everything all the time.
Yeah, I ain't playing around with them, dog. Them little birds, is that what they call them? No, I ain't got time for that.
They got rentable bikes now, too.
I like when I just come in here and we just have cool conversations. Trying to catch up, man, see what's going on. Shout out to Rally Foundation.
That's what I was going to ask you, man. How was it last night? As you sip on, I know it ain't no coffee.
No, this is definitely
He's also not a coffee drinker.
Good job, Lions.
Yeah, no coffee.
Don't stunt your growth, man.
Yeah,
because this right here.
It's already been stunted. I'm every bit of 5'8".
I was just gonna roll with it.
Yeah,
that's all.
Stunt your growth.
Nah, hey man, listen, dude. Rally was phenomenal. Shout out to Big Jeff. Getting his Titans partners to come through.
Oh, they pulled up. They pulled up.
Pulled up a little late, you know what I mean? But they got there. You know,
the football players, man.
That's all it is.
Yeah,
you're right. Y'all worse than us. It's football players. Football players.
Basketball players would have been all up in there.
Yeah, come on. We would have been there. You know what I mean? We want to show our face off.
They got suicides for y'all. We'll run 50 and back.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's it.
But it was dope, man. Big Jeff, man, leading and spearheading that with Babs as far as her hosting it. Terrific event. I think they raised $545,000 last night.
Wow.
So that was dope. Yeah, with the silent auction.
Those are big ticket items. What you saw over there?
Man, they had a Tuscany vacation. They had I forgot the little shooting, like Navy SEAL like training thing. You could take 4 people.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty dope. That was a good one. The one dude won it last year, and they brought it back to donate it to the auction, so now you could take 4 people for the price too. It was real cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you get that one for us?
You know, I was just like, man, we got a couple of partners. Shout out to James. Shout out to Craig Nance. We can just go in their backyard. You know what I mean? And get busy like that. So I ain't want to.
Shout out to Craig, man.
You got to shout out the guys, but the kids, man, phenomenal. I always say it's an emotional roller coaster when you sitting out there at the table and watching everything go down, and you hearing people tell their testimonies and. Everybody got a different story, but it all leads to, you giving back to this cancer research for kids. Being in the back, I was able to walk this year. Being in the back with the kids, you have no earthly idea what's going on out there. The people crying. The kids in the back having a ball.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, what?
Yeah.
Dog, they chasing T-Rack, trying to pull his tongue out. We got a little dude, Connor. He had his little basketball goal up in the hallway. He just won't dunk, tear it down. They got to keep pinning it up. Man, my girl, Gracie, she got the cast on, but plays softball. Tremendous little girl. Like it was dope. It was real cool. Yeah, the camaraderie. Man, Zach Pillow back there putting on the show with the kid. I think his guy was Noah. Noah did a little magic trick out there. Yeah, Titans cheerleaders came through. It was Miss Tennessee. It was pretty cool.
See, if you didn't have T-Rex as a mascot, those kids would not be able to pull the tongue, right? Like, I mean, because it's got to be human, right? Like,
exactly.
I'm just saying, T-Rex serves his purpose. And let's not forget, he's a Pro Bowl mascot.
He is.
So I just want to give some love to T-Rack because I know he got some hate that he survived the rebranding. But it's hard to kill a raccoon anyway.
They hated on him.
They hated. Oh, there's some hate. There's still people trying to replace him. Like, we have the other mascot you guys are looking for, right? I mean, don't they have that guy in the gladiator outfit?
What they want, man? T-Rack getting
I don't know why they want T-Rack out of here, man, like that.
T-Rack had that 4-wheel on some Dayton's too back in the day.
Now listen, there was a time where T-Rack, he had his issues.
He was wild.
He wasn't really getting lowered like he used to and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
he had some issues.
Just flipping golf carts.
He's made a comeback.
Yeah, he had a rough. You right, Zach? He had a rough patch, man.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
You don't know what was going on at T-Rack's home.
No, you don't. Yeah, man. You don't. You're right about that. Like big T-Rack acting up, baby T-Rack, his little brother and them was they acting up, but he brought it to the football field a couple of times.
Okay.
Yeah, it didn't go well.
They done got it together now.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. He was in good spirits last night.
Listen,
I saw him speaking at the Titan House too. I was just like, hold up.
Yeah.
Wait, he's talking?
Yeah, he go do like some hand
we gotta get him out then.
The Titans employee.
That's against mascot rules.
The Titans employee said, no, we got our own language, and I couldn't understand, so I walked away.
Okay.
They were communicating.
Sense. Okay.
I walked away.
Your nephew down that lane.
Is he?
Yeah,
baby ball?
I think we're gonna end up getting a scholarship at some point for he got invited to an Auburn camp.
Did he?
And a Tennessee camp.
Let's go.
Yeah, so we, you know what I mean, we're gonna see.
My own brother was holding information from me.
No, man.
Well, didn't they fill out an application for Bert to be the secondary mascot for Nashville SC?
As long as that beard is flowing the way it is, like I saw it on Zone TV yesterday.
Yeah.
Dog, that thing was luxurious. It would have been one of them. Listen, I would have went on there like, is that real? Pulled on it like Santa.
Real quick. Okay.
The Santa beard.
Okay.
Yeah, you had the thing blowed out. I guess maybe a little, like a little. You know how the people get the little blowout.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he had that with his beard. But shout out to him.
Blow out for the beard.
Yeah, it was
we
dope.
discussed restaurants, hair, animals,
we got it
garments.
all, man.
We covered it all.
We got it all. We
Hot chocolate and coffee.
We don't miss it.
Because I know you're a big hot wings guy like I am. And we were talking about this at the top of the show, so I don't know if you really caught my recommendation for everybody. But out in Hendersonville, out in our neck of the woods there, our people, Jolly Ollie's Buffalo Wings. Hot wings, buffalo sauce.
Elite.
They are phenomenal.
They more than buffalo. I gotta give, and I never get. We are lemon pepper.
Yeah, I was gonna say hot.
And I loved it though. Ever since you turned me on to adding lemon pepper to buffalo, that's changed my life. By the way,
I'm telling you,
that has changed my life.
Seasoning together over there.
That has changed my life.
It's a bad boy. I'm telling you, man.
I heard him talk about that on 3HL. That next Sunday, we were here watching a Titans game, and I got me some, and it was good.
It's a mix up, boy. They have them on their toes. So is it spicy though?
It's the right amount of spice. If you're a spicy person, okay, that's good. That's fine.
I'm flavor heat.
Even if you're a spicy person, it tastes enough to get you like, this is a good wing.
Right.
If you're not a spicy person, it's perfect for you.
Okay.
I'll do a show at Jolly Ollie's right now.
Let's do it.
Okay,
they got patios.
Yeah.
They got
next time I'm invited to
they got karaoke.
Foster's Manor. We got it.
Don't do that.
We need that.
Don't do that. I didn't already talk about how many subscriptions I got and the streaming stuff. Don't call it a man. We basic.
You're doing a great job though. I'm living.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Well, I remember the conversation about his projector having to get fixed and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was rough at Buffalo.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying. I've seen the pictures. I haven't been to Foster's Manor. The gate's locked. Gate's locked for Zach.
It is a gate.
It is a gate. And we beautifying that thing now too. We got trees and landscaping and river rocks around the gate box and everything. We balling. You gotta come on back out there, Zach. We gotta have you over, man.
Can you send out your helicopter to come pick me up? It ain't that far.
Ain't that much. I can do it a few times. My wife gonna look at me like, you said we ain't have no money. Keith, we ain't got no money at all.
We ain't got a dime.
We broke. I want to ask you about basketball. I feel like.
What up, man? What you got?
I don't even know now.
I tell you what, man.
What's going on with the women's basketball team in your opinion?
It's rough.
Yeah.
I mean, like, simply put, it's rough. I think it was one of those situations where you put a person that's had success at a lower level in a place where the platform got a bright light on it all the time. And it's a certain kind of caliber athlete that comes with that platform that you got to go get. So I think it was a mix of her success that she had, bringing that scheme to this platform, and like, okay, I just got to go get that 5-star player and trying to make it mesh, and it didn't. You know what I mean? And it was like, oh, this ain't go, because in year one, she had a good mix.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not just a high caliber athlete. You had just enough where you could be like, okay, I'm going to leave 2 of them in because they got to go get busy, but got a bunch of shooters. And coming back with that number 1 recruiting class, or maybe number 2.
It was 2, I think.
Number 2. Yeah, all those All-Americans, McDonald's All-Americans and high 4-star, 5-star athletes that you brought in, you didn't bring the ones that necessarily fit in that scheme.
The grinders.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You got to have people that understand that type of play, want to sacrifice a little bit more, and she didn't have that. So with him leaving, it was kind of, I think, a little bit of a blessing for her to be able to scratch it and say, all right, I gotta go back to what I know. Now, will it work? It remains to be seen. But you do see the athlete that she's going to get that fast, quick, can shoot it.
That was the other part, too. She ain't had no pure shooters on this team.
That's why she had it in year one. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
With the leftover from Kelly's team, getting this group to blend with Talasia Cooper and all them was cool. But now it was like, man, I just got a bunch of athletes. Like, we can play fast, but who can shoot consistently? You know what I mean? To keep the floor space. So you became easier to guard in a system that's trying to get up and down, and you just can only get to the rim, and you just launching shots. Once the defense figure out, okay, just let them shoot. Just get the rebound. Don't let them get offensive rebounds. That's where they'll kill you, and get out and run, and they used it against them. So I think she'll be okay, man, but Lord of mercy, she got to prove it. Like, this is
Lady Vols fans.
Is this the year?
That's it. That's it. Because you're starting to see people. I saw Candace Parker said something yesterday.
Oh, dude.
Like, when you start to get those, like, everybody's been kind of quiet outside of the media. But when you start to get the legends talking about it, it's like, oh, okay. All right, the big guy's moving on you now.
Yeah.
So we gotta get something
I
going.
know life's not fair, but is it fair that this is like her make or break year with everything that's happened?
I mean, it is year 3.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? And you got a mulligan in a year that was the worst year in Tennessee Lady Vols history.
Yeah.
So I mean, to be still standing, I mean, you gotta be like, well, all right. You know what I mean? It's you did this. It ain't nothing like people were against you or anything. Like, you made this bed. You know what I mean? It worked earlier, it didn't this year. So you got to get back to it. You got your coaching staff out of there. So you don't have anywhere else to point the finger. These are not my players. They didn't mesh. The coaches were against. Whatever it is, you scratched it, and you coming in with a new slate. I don't think she has to win coming out of the gate by 30, 40 points, but you need to win some non-conference games and get some momentum going in the SEC regular season play. That's going to help you be able to try to, stay afloat. You got to finish in the top 4.
Yeah.
You finish in the top 4 in the SEC, then I think you top 25 regardless.
Hubs was talking about on the men's side, they need post players because they lost about 2 to 3. JP Estrella left. What's your views on what this University of Tennessee men's basketball team needs? And is there like maybe slightly a philosophical shift happening with Rick Barnes where maybe he's a little bit more offensive and needs some shooters? Or do you think it's going to be same old Rick Barnes that we've seen?
So I think that you've seen different phases of Rick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The defensive guy he can be, that he's going to command for you to be out there. But you've also seen offensive teams, but those teams were the ones that were developed. When you start thinking about Grant Williams, Admiral Schofield, Jordan Bone, Bowden, Lamonte Turner, that list. So you're like, okay, they can play offense, but what is it when you start to get these 1 or 2 guys that's carrying you and the other guys are looking over their shoulders where you become easier to guard offensively and rely on your defense, but if one of those guys goes cold, now it's like, okay, what are we going to do? So I think it's misconstrued because of where he gets to in the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8, and you get to that point, and those guys that you depend on miss shots. So you automatically start to think, okay, we got to tinker with the offense.
Right.
Almost to a point, it's almost like, no, let's just go. The guys that need to be the guys, go be the guys. You know what I'm saying? But do you sit back and say, okay, we'll go through another year with that if they're not the guy? Like a Jacoby Gillespie. He just missed shots in the Michigan game.
Yeah.
To be able to keep them close to where you have that defense to lean on at the end of the game where they say, all right, we close it out with a stop.
Right.
We can get it. We can get to the foul line. That Mint was hurt. So I don't believe I will say, if they are able to target two guys that I believe can score at will, similar to what Wisconsin had last year in Blackwell, and I forgot his name, but Blackwell is in the portal. They can get two guys like that, two combo guards that can get busy. I think that brings a different dynamic for guys. If you can get a stretch four and a rim protector, you can fill in around it. So, I mean, it's a lot because the game's forever changed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you got these, you still want to be big. You still got to be able to bang. The Big Ten look like they're going to be cemented in this thing for a second, in the top half anyway. Big 12 ought to be back like they supposed to be. ACC ought to be trying to get back stronger. So it's going to be competitive. And then the SEC ain't stopping. So you got to be able to compete. If you can finish top four, just like the same thing. Arkansas, Kentucky, Florida, Tennessee, Alabama. You stay right there in that mix, you'll be fine. You just gotta win the games you're supposed to at the end.
All right, we have missed every break.
That's what we're supposed to do.
This whole show. And so we got to go to break.
That's what it's about. What you gonna do, Hawk? What you gonna do? You gonna stand up and make another little announcement or something?
In the class? Oh,
I don't even want my mic on.
Cannot believe we're only just a few minutes away from the show being over. It feels like we just started.
Oh, that's it.
Ramon and Will on 105 The Zone. I'm Zach Lyons covering in for Will. You can also listen to me later. I'm 6 hours today of talking sports. I'll be over on Cover 2 later with Blaine and Bishop over at 1 to 3 p.m. Of course, we got Slay. He'll be on at 3HL after Cover 2. Slay, I've done the thing here on this show that I do on our show to our producer, where the topic of the title of the stream is draft prospects on day 3 the Titans should target. We never talked about it. I do this all the time to Ross. It pisses Ross off all the time.
I like it.
So, but here's something we were talking about: polarizing prospects or positions. Like, what would be a pick they would have you going, huh? The Titans did what? They picked who?
Yeah. In day 3?
Any day, because we're done with day 3. We forgot to us. Sorry to all the day 3 prospects.
I don't know. We had Cosell on yesterday, and the way he was talking about one guy that I think I lean to, and I know they probably won't get to him, but a guy like Jeremy Bernard, if he's taken early, I would be shocked. I would hope he would slip late second, third, you know what I mean, if possible, because I think dude's going to be a problem, man. Just looking at him, it's nothing that, when you looked at all the talent around him last year at Alabama, with Ryan Williams, Isaiah Horton, all these guys, he could easily get lost when you bring him into motion or something, but you better have him at the top of the scouting report, because he was going to do it, unless it was red zone, he had to find out where Horton was, but dude made play after play. He knows how to get open. He ain't quick, he ain't fast, but get him the ball. And he's always, you look at his career, he's always, outside the first 2 years, he's always been able to kind of get creme de la creme, cream rise to the top for him around better talent. It was like, dang, man. So I hope somehow they go get Jeremy Bernard.
I'd be in on that.
Just act like them. That was his guy, too.
I love it. I love me some Jeremy Bernard. We talked about him a lot on Cover 2 yesterday.
Yeah, I love dude, man.
Yeah.
I love dude.
All right. We're being told that we have to go to Kroger's.
Oh, yeah. We got to go now.
We got to go now. Let's go. We'll hit up McDonald's first. All right, Ramon. This is Ramon Will, 105 The Zone. Thanks to Slay for stopping by. I'm Zach Lyons and Ramon.
Y'all know how we do on Fridays, man. Hey, call your people. Check on your older folks, man. It's about to get warm outside, man. Buy somebody a random drink. Have a random conversation with somebody. You know what I say. We're more alike than we are different, no matter what they tell us. And ELE, man, everybody love everybody, man. Peace. See you on Monday.